famous Tokyo Dome and the 9th annual Arusa K-1 World Grand Prix Championship 2001. Tonight, 8 fighting gladiators will do battle in this ring, and in the end, only one will emerge victorious. So now for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
Welcome to Japan, welcome to the Tokyo Dome, welcome to the K-1 World Grand Prix Final 2001. Hello everybody, I'm Michael Chavello ringside for the King of Kings tournament, the Mecca of martial arts in Tokyo at the Tokyo Dome. We are at the K-1 Grand Prix Final. Joining me ringside, New Zealand champion, Lightning Mike Ango. Hi Mike.
Hi, and I'm looking forward to a tremendous evening tonight.
Mate, this place is going to explode. And also joining us, the K-1 New Zealand super promoter himself, Mr. Dixon McIver.
Mike, how you doing? Great to be here. Third time here for the Tokyo Dome. It just gets better and better. This production is absolutely spectacular.
I tell you what, Dixon and Mike, I've got butterflies going through my stomach. I'm sure you watching at home have also got
it all right.
70,000 fans on hand here at the Tokyo Dome, and the 8 greatest heavyweight fighters on the planet to battle until there's only one standing. A full orchestra playing on the main stage, and we're about to get underway with the introduction of our 8 main fighters. The pyrotechnics, the light and sound show has become a staple mark of the K-1, Mike Ango.
Certainly, what a tremendous introduction the Japanese will always put on for their top fighters, the top 8 fighters in the world this year. They really know how to put on a show, Mike.
You can see the large portraits of all the fighters around the stadium here at the Tokyo Dome. There is not a spare seat in the house, 70,000 capacity, plus a lot of our celebrities ringside. We've got Royce Gracie, the former UFC all-time great. We've got sumo great Konishiki, Ray Seppo, all the K-1 superstars, and many more here tonight, Mike and Dixon.
Absolutely. The scale of this event, this introduction, just to give you an idea, the pictures up on the wall are the size of 2 tennis courts. They're absolutely massive. This huge indoor arena here at Tokyo Dome.
Dixon McIver, you've been here 3 times before. You were saying they spare no expense here in Japan to produce the best martial arts fighting spectacular on the planet.
I've got to be real honest, Mike. I've seen a lot of sporting events worldwide, and nothing tops K1. I mean, their production just seems to, amuse me every time. And it seems appropriate and fitting that they should use the sort of Roman columns, which actually just really fits in with the gladiator theme. And these guys are true gladiators.
Well, of course, the gladiator we'll all be rooting for here tonight will be the 2-time K-1 Oceania champion, Mark Hunt. Let's have a look at the parade of fighters at the moment. Here is the current and 3-time world K-1 champion, Mr. Perfect Ernesto Hoost, Mike.
Ernesto Hoost tonight, he's really looking to put on a great performance. He said this is going to be his final year. And if he wins tonight, it will be his 4th K-1 championship and his 3rd in a row.
The powerhouse from Germany and the K-1 Las Vegas USA winner, Stefan Leko. Dixon.
You know, I've had some great talks with Stefan between October and now. He is mentally prepared. I'm really looking forward to his performance this evening. He's dropped a lot of weight. He's mentally absolutely just strong in where he's going.
Oh, here he comes, ladies and gentlemen. The 2-time K-1 Oceania champion, the boy from South Auckland, has made it to the very top of the world. Here's Mark Hunt, Mike Ango.
3 years ago, you would have said, who is Mark Hunt? But here he is on the stage in front of 70,000 people at Tokyo Dome tonight. Doesn't he look relaxed?
The crowd here is phenomenal. Ernesto Hoost, Stefan Leko, Mark Hunt, and there is the big, bad Frenchman who Mark Hunt will face. This man has the most imposing knockout record of anyone in K1 history, folks. Jérôme Le Banner, Dixon.
Mate, I think we're absolutely looking for a war here between Mark and Jérôme. Talking to both Jérôme and especially Mark, I mean, yeah, he's very nervous. This is a very, very large and huge arena for him. But take no guns away from him. Once he gets in that ring, the sleeping pills are going to be popping out.
The big red machine from way up north, way up in Russian town, Alexey Ignashov, Mike Ango.
Alexey Ignashov, watch out for those lethal head-high knees. Very, very boyish-looking fighter, very young, pretty much straight out of the amateur ranks as a world champion.
It will be a David and Goliath battle as Ignashov goes up against Denmark's Nicholas Pettas, the K-1 Japan champion.
Wow, look at Nicholas. I mean, he's been here for 10 years now in Japan. He is accepted and looked upon from the Japanese people as a Japan person here, and he's proved his right to be here.
You talk about all-time greats and Peter Aerts making his way onto stage. Another three-time K-1 champion, Peter Aerts, Mike.
Well, this really is a battle back in Holland for who is the premier kickboxer in the world.
Well, Aerts on three-time K-1 champion, Hoost a three-time K-1 champion. Who will break the deadlock and emerge to be the greatest K-1 champion ever, or will we have a brand new K-1 champion? Last fighter out, of course, the God Hand himself, all the way from Brazil, former Kyokushin great, Francisco Filho Dixon.
Francisco's absolutely amped up for this. I mean, there is a lot of pressure on him. There's a lot of expectations from the Kyokushin camp, but I saw him backstage. He is absolutely calm, he's cool, he's collective, and I'm looking forward to seeing his performance this evening.
Comments from Dixon McIver ringside with myself, Michael Chavello, and Lightning Mike Angove. We see three-time K-1 champion Ernesto Hoost on screen. Folks, there is not a spare seat in the house. You can cut the atmosphere here at the Tokyo Dome with a brick. It is electric, Mike.
A brick, it is electric indeed. And right on cue, we see this fantastic light show that the Japanese are putting on. Lightning bolts everywhere.
They have a full-scale orchestra live on stage. Ernesto Hoost, of course, wearing the traditional K-1 crown as the reigning champion. It will be Hoost versus Leko first up. Early prediction, Mike Ango?
It really is a difficult fight to pick. Stefan Leko is absolutely amped. Talked to him before the show. He's as cool as ice about this one. He's proven before when he knocked out Peter Aerts.
We've got Mark Hunt going up against Jérôme Le Banner. What a battle the sluggers, Dixon.
I actually think that Jerome's going to backpedal on this one. I don't think he really wants to mix it up with Mark. Mark showed against Ray in Fukuoka that he's just got that strong iron chin, and I don't think Jerome really wants to have a crack at it.
Third match of the night will be Alexey Ignashov against Nicholas Pettas, Mike. David versus Goliath.
Well, it would be surprising to see Nicholas Pettas come through, but he came from nowhere to win the Japan K-1, so we could see an upset, but I look forward to seeing Ignashov coming through, particularly with those high knees.
And the fourth quarterfinal will be three-time K-1 champion Peter Aerts against this man, Francisco Filho Dixon.
Very tough one to pick. They're both obviously very experienced. Peter's got a lot to prove. I mean, he hasn't had a very good year. It's been really tough on him, and he really wants to go out there and take it again. But once again, Francisco is a strong force to reckon with.
Francisco also coming in with tremendously improved hand skills, which could see him add an extra dimension to his game.
We will have a little bit of news on Francisco Filho a little bit later on, though, Mike Ango. Behind the scenes, he is carrying an injury which could actually make or break Francisco Filho here tonight. We'll talk about that when his fight comes a little bit closer. We'll get some confirmation from backstage, but we have heard Francisco Filho carrying quite a serious injury. Well, there you have it, folks, the official introduction of all the 8 fighters who will emerge as the K-1 Grand Prix champion, the first one of the 21st century. I suppose that the greatest odds would be on Ernesto Hoost to become a 4-time champion. He is Mr. Perfect, Mike Angove, but such a host, such a collection of people just ready to steal Ernesto's crown.
It certainly is, but you never can tell with the Japanese. They all have their favourites. They love these fighters. Tonight, there is new blood in the K-1, so anything could happen. It really is an event which is in the balance. Who gets the best draws? Who gets the early knockouts? Who sustains least injuries into the final round?
In the center ring at the moment, Kancho Kazuyoshi Ishii, the founder of K-1, also the master of Seido Kaikan Karate. And this man, interestingly enough, Dixon, actually features on one of the early PlayStation games of the K-1. You get through all the fighters, and then you've got to face Master Ishii himself. He's a character as large as the fighters right here in Japan.
He's absolutely amazing, and you've got to admire his vision. It's been fantastic. I mean, 93 was the birth of K1, and look at the sort of arena it produces now and event it produces. I mean, you've just got to take the head off to the guy.
Unparalleled. It is the biggest indoor sports event in the world, ladies and gentlemen. Don't get anything wrong. There is nothing bigger than this one. It is huge, Dixon.
I mean, this guy is hosting the top martial arts event in the world. He has now taken on the mixed martial arts scene, which stages a very large event with the Noki office. I mean, what else are they going to do? Move into boxing next, maybe?
I tell you what, Dixon, a symbol of recognition for Master Ishii most recently appeared in Time magazine. Time magazine actually did an article on him and the K-1 listing it as one of the world's now premier sports events. So it really does have that worldwide recognition that people do flock here every December to the Tokyo Dome for what is the spectacle of spectacles.
Oh, it is. It's a prestigious event. I have never seen anything that compares to it, like I said earlier on. And it is really a great honour just to be back here again watching the Tokyo Grand Prix final.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a 7-match tournament between the 8 best heavyweight fighters on the planet, and we are all going to be rooting very hard for Mark Hunt, the boy from South Auckland, there he is on screen, who made it all the way to the top of the world, Mike.
Such a surprise this year. He got his second chance and took it with both hands earlier on when he lost in a narrow decision, a tremendous battle against Ray Sefo. Came back from that to knock out Adam Watt and really pave his way to the final here tonight.
We also will be seeing Adam Watt here tonight, of course. He will be taking on Mike Bernardo in a special one-match super match. The winner of that fight will actually fight as a reserve fighter of the tournament, but more than that, Mike Bernardo, Dixon, walking around the hotel this week, has not said a word to anyone, and that's really strange for Mike Bernardo. He's one of the loveliest guys here in the K1, but he has not spoken to anyone. He is adamant that he wants to knock out Adam Watt.
As big and as fearsome as Mike looks, he is a humble gentleman. And I've never ever seen him the way he is at the moment. Basically, he just ignored Adam Watt. And not only did he ignore him, when Adam Watt came to sort of pay his respects to him, he said, hey, let's just cut out the formalities.
So uncharacteristic for Mike Bernardo.
Guns with you.
Yeah.
That is not Mike Bernardo. So he is amped up. And he promised me, he said, I will guarantee you that I'm going to knock this guy out today. Be interesting to see what happens.
Well, unbelievable. Adam Watt, of course, a former Commonwealth Pro Boxing champion, a former 5-time World Kickboxing and Muay Thai champion. He has done it all. He's been around since the very early days of K1 and before K1. I remember Adam Watt's very first fight here in Japan was actually against Rob Carmen on one of Master Ishii's early shows. How's that for being thrown in the deep end?
Well, certainly his first 3 fights, in fact. Rob Carmen, Ernesto Hoost, and Stan Longanides.
He has done it all, Adam Watt, but I'll tell you what, perhaps his toughest challenge here tonight in front of 70,000 people on hand and going up a rampaging Mike Bernardo, who is going to be relentless here tonight.
Mike Bernardo had his heart set on winning K1 this year. He sees Adam Watt as the guy who stole that away from him.
That will be the first fight we'll be seeing here tonight, folks. Adam Watt versus Mike Bernardo over 3 3-minute rounds, and then it is straight into the K1 Grand Prix final tournament, where the very best 8 fighters in the planet do battle until only one is left standing. Dixon, as far as money goes, there is no bigger prize money in the world of martial arts than here in the K1. How much will the winner take home in New Zealand and Australian dollars here tonight?
Well, if we're talking the New Zealand dollars, they'll be taking in excess of $1 million to the winner.
So the winner here tonight, say it's Mark Hunt, if he wins here tonight, he will be, overnight, an instant millionaire.
Well, he'd probably be owning South Auckland, wouldn't he?
Mike Bernardo needs to jump on Adam Watt and not give him a chance to let those hands fly. He's got tremendous hand speed given space. Mike Bernardo needs to bully Adam Watt into the corner and really stamp his mark on him early.
Dixon in Fukuoka, of course, where Adam Watt knocked out Mike Bernardo. Bernardo really didn't have a chance to get into second gear. He just sat in the 1 speed all night, and Adam Watt pretty much just jumped on him and planted him, didn't he?
Well, if you take the fighter's mentality, I mean, when you go through a knockout like Mike did, he's either going to end up giving the game away or he's going to come back better from it. I personally believe that Mike has taken that energy and he's channeled it, and it's going to make him a better fighter. And here they come.
Well, folks, this place is alive. It's a happening. We are rocking the box here at the Tokyo Dome. And we are set for the K-1 Grand Prix, finals of 2001. Michael Chavello ringside with Mike Angove and Dixon McIver. And we'll be joined by a host of celebrities right throughout the night, including Ray Sefo, Hoist Gracie, and a whole lot more. And making his way out to the ring, the White Elephant from South Africa, Mike Bernardo. I'll tell you what, you talk about big fellas, and big Mike Bernardo, they get much bigger than this. He is a man of God, but right now he's probably thrown away the book because he's a man on a demolition mission, Mike Angove, and that mission is to knock the heck out of Adam Watt.
Certainly, when you see Mike Bernardo, normally when he comes to Japan, he enjoys the atmosphere, he soaks it up, he looks to the fans, he acknowledges them on the way out. There's nothing like that happened tonight. Take a look at the man, he is absolutely psyched, hell-bent on revenge.
Steve Calicoda in the corner of Mike Bernardo, along with on the left there you see the giant, John Norte. A formidable corner indeed, working with Mike Bernardo here tonight. His mission, folks, as we said earlier on, to knock out Adam Watt. Forget going the distance. Forget winning this one on points and making it a methodical, technical contest. Mike Bernardo will not be happy until he knocks Adam Watt out cold, Dixon.
I mean, look at the man's face. That is the look of a man who came here for nothing less than a knockout. The guy is absolutely hyped. He's raring to go. And to be honest, I've actually never, ever heard Mike come out to high-tempo dance music before.
Never before. Always a very spiritual fighter, a man who likes to get himself in that spiritual zone.
You talk about people in his corner, of course, right in front of him, Mirko Krokops, ex-trainer, also,
yes.
And also the promoter for K-1 in Croatia. So
I'll tell you what, they've brought out the big guns here tonight. They're heavy artillery for Mike Bernardo, Dixon.
They mean business.
Well, a rousing applause for Mike Bernardo. A huge shock to the K-1 lineup and in the K-1 establishment that Mike Bernardo is not part of the 8-man tournament. And that is for one reason and one reason alone, Mike Angove, and that reason's name is Adam Watt.
Certainly. I have never, ever seen Mike Bernardo in this sort of frame of mind, this intense before a fight. Adam Watt shocked him, absolutely took the world out from under his feet. And tonight, this is Mike Bernardo's chance to reclaim that back, to reclaim it back, the bit of this fighting spirit he had prior to K-1 Fukuoka.
Well, as the tunes of Paul Mack, one of the rising stars of the Australian music scene, and Peter Morrison boom over the speakers here at the Tokyo Dome, Adam Watt's going to make his way to centre ring. Of course, a few credentials on Adam Watt. As we said, a former Commonwealth professional boxing champion. He went in against Johnny Nelson for the world title shot, got knocked out. A pretty brutal knockout it was, came back to kickboxing, and has since picked up the form which formerly made him a 5-time world champion, Dixon.
Well, listen, we've been talking about Mike and how hyped he is and what he's going to do out here. You know, we're neglecting the fact that Adam has been absolutely cool, calm and collective, walking around with his headphones the whole time. And this guy here, once again, just like Fukuoka, he has nothing to lose. He's walking to this ring once again, the underdog.
And we should also mention
you could also see another upset
well,
again.
we should also mention the corner of Adam Watt, Tom LeVar in his corner, one of the all-time Kyokushin greats in Australia, and the man who actually holds the record, the world record, for the most amount of baseball bat breaks in a single turn. I was there last year in Liverpool and Sydney when he broke 30 baseball bats inside 1 minute, and that's Tom LeVar, the man with the shaved head, the bald head, working the corner of this man, Adam Watt. You talk about legends of the Aussie fight game, and you talk about Adam Watt, don't you, Mike?
What a fantastic corner they have. They're very, very tight, very relaxed, very close. You watch them moving around Japan, always together, seemingly really, really relaxed. I've never seen Adam Watt in such a relaxed frame of mind, considering he's got the white elephant chasing after him.
I tell you what, Dixon, a hilarious situation in Fukuoka, we've also seen it here in Tokyo, was a lot of the fans in the hotel getting Tom LeVar mixed up with Mike Bernardo and actually going up to Tom LeVar and asking him for autographs as Mike Bernardo, because they do look the same.
Oh, it's amazing. It happens a lot. Ronnie Seffel gets the same. Unusually enough, though, they don't only just think they look like Ray, a lot of them confuse him for Francisco Filho.
Yes, indeed. Indeed. And I tell you what, it is amazing to be at the hotel in the lobby every day, Mike Angove, and just see the infatuation that these Japanese fans have for the K-1 fighters. I mean, Ray Seffo was doing a lap of the ring earlier on, and we thought that something had broken out in the crowd, but it was simply Ray Seffo walking by.
He was just taking a stroll to ringside, and the fans are out of their seat. As we watch the announcer announcing Mike Bernardo, no acknowledgement of the crowd.
It's interesting you should mention Ray. I mean, he's sitting just across from us at ringside, and this is the first time Ray has not been to the Grand Prix.
Yes.
And as much as he's sitting there, I know he's sitting there thinking, well, this is great. I get to see a fight that I've never seen before. I managed to watch the Grand Prix.
But his knuckles must be itching.
Deep down, I know that Ray thinks it should have been me.
Talking to him earlier, he certainly said he had mixed feelings. He gets to sit and enjoy the show, but he mentioned that he would much rather be a part of it.
Oh, look at that. Look at that, Mike. Look at the stare down between Adam Watt and Mike Bernardo. There is no love lost between these two, as we said. It was Adam Watt that prevented Mike Bernardo from having a shot at the big catch here tonight in the K-1 final, Dixon.
Well, if that sort of starts, somebody's going to go down.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
this one is
guarantee.
not going to go 3 rounds.
Look to see Mike Bernardo's overhand right as he leaps on Adam Watt.
Here we go, folks. It is Mike Bernardo left of screen. Adam Watt from Australia in the blue trunks. And we are set for 3 by 3. Spinning back kick to the midsection there from Adam Watt, starting early. It wasn't south of the border. I thought that one actually caught him right on the stomach.
Adam Watt's just got to be careful. He's drifting a little bit to the right, and Mike Bernardo has a tremendous overhand right.
Good leg check there from Bernardo. Solid jab there from Adam Watt. Step up front kick from Watt, then the overhand left. Beautiful right-left combination there from Watt. That's what he caught Bernardo with last time in Fukuoka when he knocked him out.
He's moving well, moving around the ring well. As expected, Mike's just stalking him. Adam just using quick combination, and there you see the power of the man with the left hook.
Big looping left hook there by Mike Bernardo, the big giant from South Africa. Dropping body shot off the right hand there from Adam Watt. Snappy jab from Bernardo. Oh, Watt sweeps out the supporting leg of Bernardo.
It's a nice sweep. I'm very surprised that Adam's actually, or Mike is letting Adam take it to him straight away. I thought he'd find Mike jumping on Adam.
Spinning back fist there from Adam Watt. Of course, Adam Watt, the man renowned as performing the spinning back fist of the century right here in Japan a number of years ago. And a very rarely used, but nonetheless a very effective technique if you can pull it off, Mike.
We just saw a little sly knee on the inside while Adam Watt was on the ground. Mike Bernardo is not a happy man. He's got to be very careful he doesn't get too tense, because he can lose the fight from trying too hard, being too tense in his arms, not letting the speed flow. Adam Watt is not, he's not a stupid fighter. He will have realised that Mike Bernardo is coming after him.
Rapid fire combination there by Adam Watt, dropping the axe kick, trying to break the collarbone of Mike Bernardo. And Watt does have that length in the legs that he can bring down such a technique as the axe kick. Both men in the centre of the ring. It has been Bernardo controlling the centre of the ring so far in the fight.
I think, I mean, with Mike here, he needs to watch his left guard. It seems to be dropping quite a bit every time Adam attacks. So look for an overhand right possibly coming from Adam.
Adam tends to be a left hooker. What Adam does have to be careful of is he has to be aware of his range and not drift into that overhand right. As he's still moving around, you'll notice to his left, which is into Mike Bernardo's right hand.
Comments there from Lightning Mike Ango, ringside with myself, Michael Chavello, and Dixon McIver. We're coming at you from the Tokyo Dome in the K-1 Grand Prix 2001.
Adam Watt really dominating this first round. In fact, he's piling up the points. Mike Bernardo, however, I think he's only going to settle for the knockout. He's not really concerned about points for this fight.
Turning back, kicking close there from Adam Watt. Referee saying to break. A late knee again there from Bernardo. He is looking for every opportunity to punish Adam Watt here.
Yeah, I think Mike was very unfortunate that the ref actually stopped. I mean, there was nothing really wrong with that, and he was looking at a good attack on Adam.
Bernardo really hasn't thrown a kick as of yet in this fight. He's been relying on his handiwork. Adam Watt, of course, has been slinging the legs. Goes to the lead thigh again. Really tenderising that lead thigh of Bernardo. Outside thigh kick was the first there from Bernardo, then took a solid right hand to the side of the head.
Now they're working through the exchanges. Look for Mike Bernardo in these exchanges to come out with a hooking right hand. I think Mike Bernardo has to be very, very careful as we look to his corner now, not to become too one-dimensional, looking for just that single shot. He really needs to put together punches, put together combinations, perhaps look low to set up his right hand.
Overhand right there by Adam Watt on the replay, the short left hand, a good flurry there from Watt, Mike.
Yeah, very good flurry, nice hand speed. As you see in the first fight, he's giving Adam Watt a little bit of room. He's got to explode in.
You've got both opponents here just trying to feel each other out and find a way in. I mean, if I looked at this sort of round here, I'd probably just give the edge to Adam. He seems to have done a bit more work, scored more points with the low kicks and so on. So it'll be interesting to see how the judges score it. As we all know, they are quite controversial, gentlemen.
Indeed. Well, we'll give this one 10-9 then, shall we, on our unofficial scorecard here at ringside. 10-9 perhaps to Adam Watt, and a solid start against Mike Bernardo, but expect Bernardo to get a whole lot stronger here in the second stanza. We are set for 3x3. Adam Watt takes a deep breath and we are underway. A lot of handiwork from Bernardo in the opening stanza. Watt, of course, favouring his legs, slinging the lead thigh of the South African. Nice parry there from Bernardo. High right round kick to the head, trying to loop it around the back of the neck there from Adam Watt. Goes for the inside thigh kick. It was well checked by Bernardo Dixon.
I mean, we talk about the size of Mike Bernardo, but I mean, Adam Watt is a monster.
He's a tall boy, isn't he?
I mean, he's looking down at Mike Bernardo, and that doesn't happen very regularly in K1.
You're talking around 6'5", 6'6" there for Adam Watt. Mike Bernardo standing around 6'4.5". So two very big monsters of men.
Adam Watt, however, considerably lighter at only 97 kilos for this fight. Very good hand speed. You notice he's working those hand flurries really well. Mike Bernardo's got to be careful not to drop his head too low because we are fighting knees to the head.
When we talk about a big guy like Mike, I mean, Adam has actually been training with Mark Hunt prior to this tournament.
Tell you what, that's going to be a battle of the big boys later on when Mark Hunt takes on Jérôme Le Banner. That's the one that we're all waiting for and the crowd's also waiting for. If you could back one of the fights in the K1 tournament not to go the distance, you'd have to back Mark Hunt versus Jérôme Le Banner, Mike.
I think so. I don't think we'll see Le Banner looking for a knockout early on, however. I think Mark Hunt is the one who will chase the knockout. We'll see Le Banner backpedaling, piling up with left-handed points as a left-handed fighter. As we see Adam Watt going to the axe kick again, using different kicks and technique. Oh, just on the top of the head.
Beautiful short left hand there by Adam Watt. 1 minute 25 down in the second round. Finishes the combination with a leg kick. Watt all over him now like a rash. Mike Bernardo forced to back up. He's wobbled in. He's wobbled in. Bernardo's been wobbled in the second round. Well, he tagged him to the side of the head. And Mike Bernardo was on rubber leg street there for a moment, folks.
The punch that started that off was the spinning back fist to Mike Bernardo's temple. And there we see Adam Watt going for another one again.
Mike is absolutely stunned here. I mean,
I'd tell you
look at
what,
his eyes. The guy's just finding it really hard to focus on his opponent.
he is about to take a trip down the boulevard of broken dreams, that's for sure. Mike Bernardo's work rate is just not there in this round. He has been stunned like a mullet by Adam Watt here, Mike.
Adam Watt fighting very cleverly here, actually. Beautiful combination there.
While the head rocked back of Mike Bernardo, the right uppercut just tagging him underneath the chin. This has been all Adam Watt again in this round.
Adam Watt, in actual fact, has started to assert his dominance. And you'll see Adam Watt keeping a very tight guard and countering with quick combinations after Mike Bernardo's just throwing the single shots. And that's where Mike's going wrong. He's lumbering in, not really exploding in, and throwing a single shot. And there we see the knee going again.
With the leg kick. Well, to that lead knee of Mike Bernardo. Adam Watt's been doing an absolute meat cleaver of a job on that lead thigh. And what the better combination fighter of the two thus far into the final 20 seconds now of the second round of action, scheduled for 3. This round again has belonged to Watt. Mike Bernardo starting to bring on some of the heavy artillery now in the hand department, but just not enough mustard behind it to do any real damage. Almost caught him there for an overhand right.
Mike Bernardo needs to jump on Adam Watt. He actually caught him flush on the chin there.
Some heated motions there from Mike Bernardo at the end of the second round, Mike Angove.
I think we see Mike Bernardo starting to show some of the frustration. He really needs to listen to his corner now, get his composure, and put together strings of punches. Combinations is the only way he's going to win this fight now.
Let's have a look at the replay from that round. Adam Watt connecting at the short right, short left, following up every combination, ending it with a leg kick. Spinning back fist, dug him with the uppercut, came through the short right hand. Mike Bernardo was swinging wildly, but he really didn't have any answers for Adam Watt in the second round, Mike.
I think the speed of Adam Watt is what Mike Bernardo is finding trouble with. Remember, Adam Watt has been fighting at cruiserweight and light heavy, so he's used to a lot faster pace. Mike Bernardo used to the super heavyweights, used to the guys who move a lot slower.
Dixon on our unofficial scorecard will go 10-9 again to Adam Watt.
Once again, Adam Watt, and I think Mike's very fortunate to actually last through that round.
Both men touch gloves, the third and final round. Adam Watt on our unofficial scorecard, 10-9 in the first, 10-9 in the second, almost dropping Mike Bernardo in the second stanza.
Still retaining his distance, moving along the ropes there, Adam Watt, fighting a very clever fight.
I think Mike has to really jump on Adam there. If he doesn't, you'll find that probably the decision at the end of the day will go against him.
Comments there from Dixon McIver. Spinning back kick in the centre of the ring there from Adam Watt. Watt just dancing nimbly around the ring. Full of high spirits all this week, Adam Watt. As we said, Mike Bernardo, the more brooding of the two, the quieter of the two this week.
Certainly Adam has been the more relaxed fighter. He's really just broken Mike Bernardo's rhythm, not allowing him to set a pattern, not allowing him to dominate at all.
I tell you what, he broke Mike Bernardo's spirit as well, Mike Angove.
Oh, Mike Bernardo was expecting Adam Watt to go down the first punch he landed, and that hasn't happened. Adam Watt's fought cleverly, he's kept a high guard, and as you can see, he's still retaining that distance.
Snapping trade of jabs right in front of our commentary position. Oh, big clubbing right hand and body shot there.
That body shot really hurt.
There was a lot of power in that body shot.
Adam Watt was really hurt by that. Mike Bernardo, I don't think he realised he had him in trouble there for a moment. He really needs to jump on him because he's not ahead in this fight.
Outside thigh kick there from Bernardo. We are 1 minute 5 down here into the third and final round of action. Snappy jab there from Bernardo.
I think what we're seeing from Mike Bernardo is a failure to adapt to a different style of fight, a faster style of fight. And we see the body shots again.
Big left hands now from Mike Bernardo. He's going for the knockout. Adam Watt just smiles at him, says, "Come on, Mike, you can't tag me, son." Watt just lets fly the wild, searing uppercut. Beautiful high knee there from Adam Watt. Oh, snapping jab again and again. I'll tell you what. Oh, big jumping knee there from Adam Watt. He's doing a number now on Mike Bernardo, but Bernardo continues to come forward. Bernardo's taken more jabs than a pin cushion in this final round, that's for sure. Adam Watt's still moving about agilely. A couple of jabs inside
very
fight
much
there.
running out of time here. He really needs to pick his work rate up because there's only a matter of probably 30 seconds, maybe 40 seconds left
Oh,
in
we're
this
just
round.
ticking over into the final minute now of the final round. Uppercut.
There we see
wide,
the
hook
uppercut landed,
combination
followed by the hook.
Watt tries to time up and work the knees. We haven't seen a knee yet from Mike Bernardo. Watt really using the full range of his K1 technique. Bernardo trying to back him into a corner now. Couple of jabs, wades in with the right hand. Watt just gets out of there with a little bit of footwork.
Adam Watt just starting to fatigue here. He's got to be careful. He's just becoming a little more tired. And you see Mike Bernardo just starting to string together a couple more punches. Mike, however, is still trying to set himself. Oh, and there
nice
goes the
big
leg.
thigh kick from Mike Bernardo. Adam Watt in trouble. Adam Watt in trouble. Will the referee apply the count? Yes, he does. Adam Watt's been wobbled in the third round.
I think Adam Watt's saying that he got caught behind the knees, complaining that it was a knee shot. The referee's not calling it.
Well, the referee, maybe it was a late blow as well by Mike Bernardo. Is that one going to be a 10-8 round to Bernardo? And there it is, into the third and final. Well, a little bit of controversy on the third and final round, Mike Ango.
I don't know. Don't be surprised to see this go to an extra round.
Yeah, exactly. I'm thinking on the same lines, you know.
I tell you what, if you give that one a 10-8, the way of Mike Bernardo, folks, then we do on our unofficial scorecard have a draw. 10-9 Adam Watt in the first, 10-9 Adam Watt in the second, and 8-10 going Bernardo's way in the third.
And let's not forget that the fighter who wins this fight is the reserve fighter for the remainder of the K1. So if anything happens to one of the other fighters and they can't continue, the winner here takes over and fills that fighter's place.
Well, we may be in for an extension round, folks. On our unofficial scorecard, I'll read it once more. 10-9 Adam Watt in the first, 10-9 Watt in the second, and 8-10 to Bernardo in the third. Let's go ringside, and we await the official decision of the judges.
I think Adam Watt's proved something here tonight. It was no fluke first time round in Fukuoka.
He's proved that he's one tough bastard as well. Well, one for Bernardo. Oh, there you have it, folks. Mike Bernardo getting the decision. I must say, Mike Ango, I do not agree with that one.
I think we have a clear show, and I'm reluctant to say it, however, we've got a clear show of the bias that Japanese judges sometimes show to their favourites. Adam Watt, he's not showing the disappointment. He knows how it works sometimes here in Japan, but really, he should have got a draw at the very least. He dominated that fight.
Well, Mike Bernardo will not be impressed with himself after that performance. Yes, he goes home a victor. Yes, he takes the winner's trophy, but by no means did he impress the 70,000 strong crowd here at the Tokyo Dome, Mike.
No, as we see, Mike, he's very happy with the victory. He was wobbled several times in that round.
Work.
Mike Bernardo, still an angry man, leaving the ring, saying that he caught Adam Watt on the chin, and he said Adam couldn't hurt him. And Mike Bernardo from South Africa goes home victorious over Adam Watt. But what a controversial result to start our night here at the Tokyo Dome.
I think a moral victory there for Adam Watt on the whole. He's come up from the cruiserweights. He's in the later stages of his career, and he's really shown he can still foot it with the top guys in K1.
Well, a rousing applause from this huge crowd for Mike Bernardo back in the winner's circle, a place he hasn't been in for quite some time. Mike Bernardo of South Africa, the big white elephant, goes home a winner.
They call him Mr. Perfect. He is Ernesto Hoost. He is the 97, 99, and 2000 K1 champion. Will he claim his fourth K1 title? Stefan Leko, the European Prince. He is the K1 European champion and K1 Las Vegas winner. He shocked the K1 world with a KO victory over the great Peter Aerts.
Well, as darkness falls once again upon the Tokyo Dome, we are ready, folks, to get it on in the first of our K1 tournament fights. It will be the defending and three-time K1 champion Ernesto Hoost against Stefan Leko. Let's go to Michael Buffer.
Final match for the K-1 World Grand Prix Championship 2001. Coming to the ring first, from the blue stage, Ernesto Hoost.
Both the Japanese fans love him, Mike.
I tell you what, Mike Angove, if you set out to build the ultimate fighter, if you set out to build a fighter perfect in every aspect, in punches, in kicks, in working knees in the grapple, in endurance, stamina, and mentality, you would effectively build a man, and he would be named Ernesto Hoost. He is a three-time and the current defending K1 world champion. He has been almost untouchable for the past 2 years, only having one loss, and that was against Jérôme Le Banner.
Jérôme Le Banner, a man with tremendous power, knocked out Ernesto in the first round, but Ernesto has put together a string of tremendous performances, and he's looking to make it the third year in a row. But if any fight is a difficult one for him, it's Stefan Leko first up. This fight could in fact determine the champion of the K1 in 2001.
Oh, listen to that applause! It can only mean one thing. Make his way to the ring, the three-time K1 world champion, Mr. Perfect Ernesto Hoost. I tell you what, they love him here in Japan. And speaking of people they love here in Japan, joining us, ringside, the man who went to war against Ernesto Hoost last year in the K1 final, the one, the only Mr. Ray Seppo. How are you, Ray? Mate, it is great to have you ringside, Ernesto Hoost versus Stefan Leko. Who do you tip, Ray?
Well, honestly, out of experience and everything, Ernesto's very, technical fighter. That's the reason why they call him Mr. Perfect. But you gotta understand that Stefan come out of K1 USA, beating Peter Aerts, and right now he's not only fit, he's very strong, he's mentally focused. And I think at the moment, Stefan is actually just looking to win one fight.
Yeah.
And he doesn't really care if he goes to, to the final as long as he beats Ernesto.
Ray, you fought Ernesto Hoost, of course, last year in the final right here at the Tokyo Dome. What are the strengths of Mr. Perfect?
Ernesto's got a great defense on his side. He throws a lot of techniques, he throws a lot of punches and kicks, and he's busy. So that's advantage. And for Stefan to actually beat Ernesto, he's going to have to be busier than Ernesto.
Well, the long walk from the dressing room, the three-time and defending K1 world champion Ernesto Hoost just crossing in front of our commentary position, about to make his way into the blue corner, and he is set for 3 threes against the German powerhouse and the winner of the K1 USA in Las Vegas, Stefan Leko. What do you think of Mr. Perfect Ernesto Hoost, Mike Angove, and his chances against Stefan Leko?
Well, Mr. Perfect has it all as a fighter. He can do absolutely anything. Against Stefan Leko, he just has to be careful, really pummeling the legs of Leko, who's not renowned for being a leg checker, and watch out for Leko's overhand right.
Well, we're about to get underway, and making his way from the dressing room next will be the German powerhouse, the Blitzkrieg himself, the man who many have tipped as a dark horse here tonight to not only upstage Ernesto Hoost, but to go all the way and win tonight's K1 tournament. And his name is Stefan Leko. And have a look at the crowd on hand here. It is a full house, 70,000 plus, making it a huge event at the Tokyo Dome, Mike.
What a tremendous event. Stefan Leko, he too is a fighter who has really fought his way into recognition over the last 3 or 4 years. He's actually had a fight against Ray Seppo, which he fought really strongly early on in his career. It was quite a difficult opponent, wasn't he, Ray?
He was. Stefan's quite a sneaky little fighter, and if you underestimate him, he'll take you home. And I think he's very ready tonight.
Well, I'll tell you what, folks, you talk about flair, you talk about the pin-up boy of the K1, and you talk about Stefan Leko from Germany. My word, I've never seen so many admiring female fans as those that congregate around Stefan Leko, also yourself, Ray, but in more recent weeks, Stefan Leko, my word, the women absolutely love him.
Oh, he's a great guy. He's an awesome guy. He's he's great in the ring as well as he is outside of the ring, so of course they're going to love him.
Ray, you're mentioning the strengths of Ernesto Hoost being, of course, his defense and primarily his intelligence. What are the strengths of Stefan Leko?
Stefan, well, like you were saying before about leg kicks, he can take leg kicks and he also can give it. I think in this key, Stefan really needs to be busy with his hands and don't go looking for one shot. You know, we saw it earlier on with Mike and Adam. I thought Adam fought a tremendous fight. Fortunate for Mike, he came back in that last round and actually, you know, put a few things together and made it, you know, and won the fight. So I think Stefan's going to do tremendously well tonight.
Stefan Leko and Ernesto Hoost in centering. Let's go across to Michael Buffer.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, our first quarterfinal match. K-1 action scheduled for three-minute rounds. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing black trimmed with red and white, and weighing in at 102.5 kilograms. 98 fights with 84 victories, including 55 by knockout. He's this year's K-1 Grand Prix Melbourne champion, and he is the 1997-1998 two-time K-1 World Grand Prix final champion from Holland, Mr. Perfect, Ernesto Hoost. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing black, trimmed with silver. His weight, 95.5 kilograms. In 54 fights, 44 victories, including 28 knockouts. He's the 1998 K-1 European Grand Prix champion, 1999 K-1 Dream Tournament champion, and this year's K-1 World Grand Prix Las Vegas champion from Germany. Ladies and gentlemen, the European Prince, Stefan Leko.
Well, what a rousing ovation from Mr. Perfect, Ernesto Hoost, and the German Prince, Stefan Leko, third man in centering. Tell us a little bit about this guy, Ray Stefo, the great Nobwaki Kakura.
Kakura's a tremendous fighter. Unfortunately, he's not a heavyweight, but he has earlier on in the K1 series had fought some great fighters.
That will be our referee, Nobwaki Kakura. A huge ovation for him earlier on when they announced his name. We're set for 3-by-3. The winner of this one, quarterfinal number 1, will face the winner of Mark Hunt versus Jérôme Le Banner. Will be the current defending champion, Mr. Perfect, Ernesto Hoost, or Stefan Leko.
I don't think I've seen Stefan Leko look as trim as he is currently. He really seems to have lost a lot of weight from his last couple of fights, looking absolutely ripped, more like a cruiserweight than a heavyweight.
He is ripped, he is buffed, he is primed and ready for action. A sling leg kick match at the moment. And centering, both men just feeling each other out. Ernesto Hoost likes to take one round to feel out an opponent, then he'll go to work on them after that. Spinning back this leg kick there. Nice combination from Leko.
Tremendous speed there from Leko and really stringing the shots together.
Actually, that's the fastest I've seen Stefan put things together, actually.
Comments there from Ray Sefo, ringside with myself, Michael Chavello, and Lightning Mike Angove. We're coming at you from the Tokyo Dome. And the K-1 Grand Prix finals. This is quarterfinal number 1. Mr. Perfect, Ernesto Hoost against Stefan Leko. It is Holland versus Germany. Outside fly kick there from Hoost.
And there we see a typical Ernesto Hoost move, setting up with the hands and crashing that leg kick home to the lead leg.
There is no reason they call him Mr. Perfect. Hoost qualifying for this tournament, not only by being the defending champion, but also winning through down under in Melbourne at the K-1 World Grand Prix Melbourne earlier this year. Nice knees in place there from Hoost, just tagged him with a short left hand.
You'll notice Ernesto, when he's in close, he twists, he turns, he creates little angles to get sneaky little shots off, all the time raking up points. Watch out for Leko, he throws a very unusual overhand right, and Ernesto has been vulnerable in the past to an overhand right.
Outside thigh kick, a real thigh chopper, that one there from Ernesto Hoost. We are 1 minute 35 down here in the first round, scheduled for 3-by-3. Almost turning him around and trying to launch the right hand there was Leko. He thought twice about it. And it has just been a real feeling out process here in the first round, Ray Sefo.
Absolutely, but right now I think, you know, it's halfway through the round. I think Stefan's staying off too much. You know, if you let Ernesto dictate the pace of the fight, he's going to take it all the way. So really right now Stefan needs to show that he has a bit of authority in there as well.
Oh, wild outside leg kick attempted there off the throw from Ernesto Hoost. Leko just bouncing back off the ropes in front of our commentary position, Mike.
And what we did see there from Ernesto is his aptitude just for getting sneaky little shots on, spinning the fight around, raking up the points and then moving away. He's a very, very long fighter, and as Ray Sefo said, Leko really needs to get inside and fight from his own range and not allow Ernesto to dictate the range and dictate the pace of the fight.
Absolutely.
Solid leg check there by Stefan Leko. Hoost has been going to that outside left thigh all fight so far.
And you'll notice already there's bruising starting to develop on the outside of Leko's thigh.
Beautiful rib kick there off the left leg from Ernesto Hoost, the current and defending three-time K-1 world champion. Final 10 seconds of the first round now. Another outside thigh kick, and he has tenderized that lead thigh of Stefan Leko. Leko is feeling it, you can bet. Nice snappy right hand there by Ernesto. Gets underway of the right hand from Leko, and how do you see that one, Mike Ango?
Very much a feeling out round. The Japanese judges tends to be a little more conservative. They want to see more definitive shots. However, they do favour the leg kicks, so they may slight towards Ernesto Hoost, but a draw in my box.
Well, Ernesto Hoost being fanned down in the corner. One of the great trainers, Johan Voss, in his corner. Jérôme Le Banner we see backstage there outside the door of Jérôme Le Banner. And the big bombing Frenchman is preparing for what will be one of his toughest challenges as he goes up against our own slugger, the slugger from South Auckland, Mr. Mark Hunt. What do you reckon, Ray Sefo? Mark versus Jérôme?
Well, you know, that fight to me, I think is a 50-50 fight. Just to be a reason that, you know, these guys have met before. And Jérôme has the edge because he has beaten Mark before. But Mark, I think, is a little bit hungry. He was a little bit nervous in the changing rooms.
We have to stipulate there that it was a very raw Mark Hunt. His first time ever outside of Australia. His first time here in Japan.
I agree with that.
It was a raw, inexperienced Mark Hunt.
Right. And I think Mark's going to come out and, you know, put on a real good show.
Both men touch gloves are underway in the second round now. Ernesto Hoost, the defending champion, against Stefan Leko. It is Holland versus Germany. Nice solid leg check off the lead leg there and a responding leg lounge kick there from Ernesto Hoost.
You'll notice Ernesto's being very, very clever. He's firing out that left leg kick, which is in effect nullifying Leko's right hand. Whenever Leko looks to set with the right hand, watch for Ernesto's left leg kick to come up towards
Oh,
the
he
rib.
tagged him with the left hand. Smack bang on the kisser.
And the judges correctly knocked. Oh, it's been given
Well,
a
there
count.
you go. Yes, it was a snappy left hand. Lightning quick from Ernesto Hoost. Smack bang on the kisser. Down went Stefan Leko. Leko not happy about it, but yeah, he got tagged.
Unfortunate to get that 8 count. I don't think he deserved it. He was off balance. He was kicking, and just happened that Ernesto caught him right on the end of the punch.
Outside thigh kick there from Ernesto Hoost.
The thing about these fights we must remember is they're only 3 rounds, so an 8 count like that really means Leko must dominate the remainder of the fight.
Leko really has to pick up his work rate in this second round of action. As we said, a feeling out process in the first. And Ernesto Hoost has already turned it on here in the second. He has dropped Stefan Leko. So this will be Hoost's round thus far. Ray Sefo, what can Stefan Leko do against Mr. Perfect in the second round?
He really's got to start putting some punches together and some, you know, putting combinations together. And right now, if he goes down again, that's the end of the fight. So,
well, of course, the 2 knockdown rules.
Absolutely.
Yes, exactly.
So he really needs to go to work right now.
Comments there from the Sugarfoot Ray Sefo, ringside with myself, Michael Chavallo, and Lightning Mike Angove.
Leko missed something there. He tagged Ernesto on the chin with the left hand. Ernesto walked into it. Ernesto's very, very clever at hiding when he's been hurt. Quite often when you watch a fighter, if he smiles at you after he's taken a punch, he's actually hurt. Leko didn't pick up on that. He could have capitalized there.
Well, let's see if the German prince, Stefan Leko's got the pepper to keep it going here against the current and defending champion, Ernesto Hoost. Inside thigh kick, just not enough mustard behind it to do any real damage. Hoost moves in, gets out of dodge with a little bit of fancy footwork. Overhand right there by Leko.
Leko just starting to telegraph his right hand a bit. Ernesto really handing him a distance in distance. And that right leg kick, if you watch Ernesto, he's sliding around to the sides, both sides of Leko, and look to see him slide around and perhaps throw a high head kick just to catch Leko by surprise.
Ray, this is a tournament fight, of course, and there is no better tournament fighter than Ernesto Hoost. He seems to be pacing himself quite well.
And, of course, Stefan's allowing him to do that because Stefan's not throwing enough combinations in there. And, you know, of course, Ernesto's just dictating the fight. And, you know, whenever he wants to throw, he'll throw. And if he doesn't, he'll move and counterfight. So he's fighting a tremendous and a smart fight.
Oh, left-hand leg kick combination there from Ernesto Hoost, raking up the points here. 2 minutes 50 down into the final 10 seconds of the second round. One more to go after this. It has been Ernesto Hoost thus far. Leko's work rate just hasn't been high enough.
I think
Storming
what's
across the
happening
ring again there was Ernesto Hoost with the inside thigh kick. End of the second round. How do you see it, Mike?
I see it once again Hoost dominating, dictating the pace of the fight, dictating the distance. Stefan Leko has been put off his rhythm by Ernesto. Ernesto has tremendous control of distance and rhythm. You'll notice every now and then he'll throw a very fast, what we call a half-beat jab in the business, which is in between beats of a fighter's rhythm. And there we see Leko going to ground. Really unfortunate to get that called a knockdown. He was off balance, leading in with the left kick there.
Ray, how did you say that one? Was it a knockdown?
No, that definitely was an off-balance shot. I mean, from that angle, it looked like an off-balance shot. But Stefan did take a few seconds to get up.
Well, either way, the judges are going to pay it as a knockdown. Ernesto Hoost, it was scored by Nobwaki Kakuta, the third man in centre ring. And on our unofficial scorecards, perhaps a 10-9-1 in the first for Ernesto Hoost and 10-8 for Hoost in the second. And the German prince, Stefan Leko, really has to pull a proverbial rabbit out of the hat if he wants to bring this one home and progress to the semi-finals. Here we go in the third and final round, Mike.
He definitely needs to land that right hand and knock Ernesto Hoost out to win this fight.
Well,
The thing is, he's actually looking for that right hand. He's looking for one shot rather than putting punches together.
exactly. Maybe not even a rabbit out of the hat will do it. Maybe he has to pull a whole cow out of a hat. Who knows? See if Stefan Leko can do it here in the third round. Overhand right by Leko. That's a little bit better by the German prince.
Ernesto was actually stung by that overhand right. And there we see Leko starting to put a couple of punches together, and we see the difference it makes in the fight. If he's going to throw one shot, he's going to be picked off. If he puts combinations together, and there we see again that overhand right.
Turning back kick to the midsection, a real gut muncher there from Stefan Leko. Both men trading blows in the centre of the ring. Well, this is good for Leko. He's not willing to give up that central ring control to Ernesto Hoost. Snappy trade of jabs, smack bang in the centre of the mat. Left round kick to the rib cage, caught him on the forearms by Hoost.
Ernesto, very, very clever. You notice when he moves away from the right hand, moving around in a wide circle. And there we go, the leg kick again.
Snappy jab there from Leko, getting a little bit more confident now in the third round. Goes to the outside thigh of Ernesto Hoost.
Leko is still not throwing enough. He has to press this fight. If he wants to be a winner, he has to really press the fight and throw his hands and throw a lot of them very soon.
Right, and I think the key right now is for Stefan to actually double that jab, follow the right hand and throw the left hook, and then add kicks or knees on top of that when he's inside.
Leko really needs to unload the heavy artillery and pull out all the stops now against Mr. Perfect. He's got to really bring home the bacon. Snappy jab just tipping the head back of Leko. I tell you what, that jab is so beautiful of Ernesto Hoost. Nice outside thigh kick by Hoost, and another one from Hoost.
Notice how Ernesto is very, very clever at taking short little back steps, just maintaining the distance. And there you see him pushing out Leko to get his own range.
I tell you what, if he could have an IQ as a fighter, Ernesto Hoost would have a 200 plus IQ, folks. He is that intelligent in everything he throws and everything he defends against. He really is.
In contrast to the last fight we saw with Mike Bernardo, who didn't seem to be able to adapt to Adam Watt.
Oh, he tags him
and
on
he's
the
tagged
chin.
with the right hand.
Leko just shakes his head and says, no, Ernesto, didn't catch me enough to put me down, but nonetheless, he was tagged by the right.
I think he had a little bit of water on the knee there.
Again. Tell you what, Leko's taken more jabs than a pincushion here in the third round. High right round kick. Ernesto was well guarded up against it. Drops down the bread basket with the right hand does Leko. Nice looping left hook. Ernesto just turns him around. And now Hoost comes forward. We're into the final 25 seconds of the third and final round. Ernesto Hoost in control, Mike Ango.
Ernesto Hoost just doing what he has to win this fight, just doing what he has to keep Leko off balance, because he knows that Leko needs to knock out. So he's just throwing short, fast punches.
Final 10 seconds. Leko bobbing and weaving, but he will not be able to catch Mr. Perfect Ernesto Hoost. Time is running out, and there it is. The end of the third and final round. Ray Sefo, how do you see it? Ernesto Hoost, I think he's going to take it home.
Definitely. He won the first round by a 10-9. He won the second round by a 10-8. And now I think that round, it's another 10-9 to for Ernesto in that round also.
Ray's hardly raised a sweat, Ernesto Hoost. Is he on his way to becoming an historic four-time K-1 champion?
Most likely, anything can happen here. Anything can happen.
Mike Angove, impressive indeed from the man they call Mr. Perfect.
Well, I mean, Stefan Leko is no easy beat. He's given a number of fighters tremendous trouble in K1, including a tremendous knockout of Peter Aerts earlier on this year. And Ernesto Hoost simply took him apart. He read the book on Leko, took him apart, did what was needed to win.
Absolutely, absolutely.
We'll await the judge's decision. One of these two men will progress to the semi-final to take on the winner of Jérôme Le Banner or Mark Hunt, Ray.
Jérôme Le Banner or Mark Hunt? Well, you know, like I said, you know, I'm not going to go out there and, you know, it's still a 50-50 fight.
So we wait for the decision from ringside.
青、アーネスト・ホースト。ジャッジ、水岡雅人。30対27、青、アーネスト・ホースト。
Well, there you have it, folks. Ernesto Hoost is the first man through to the semi-finals of the K-1 Grand Prix 2001. The victory dancing centering. Mr. Perfect's through.
And we see the characteristic little wiggle of the hips by Ernesto Hoost. Look to see that dance get a little longer as the night goes on.
Well, the camera is taking a peek backstage as well, where Jérôme Le Banner and Mark Hunt are about to make their way out to centre ring. But Ernesto Hoost, the defending triple K1 world champion, is through to the semi-finals. And he'll take on either this man, Jérôme Le Banner, or the South Auckland slugger himself, Mark Hunt. Who's right in front of our commentary position, just slipping on his sandals and about to take the long walk. A congratulatory handshake there from Ray Sefo, and some fans in the crowd, and Who's goes back a man of victorious.
And you'll notice just before we saw an older looking dark gentleman, Ernesto Hoost's father is here at ringside.
And I think his younger brother as well, it looks exactly like him.
Actually, you know, I think in some sense, his father's brought him a lot of strength and energy and courage to be out here, because he didn't know that his father was coming to the event. It was just everybody put it together, and what a surprise for him.
Well, I tell you what, folks, more than anything else here tonight as well, you've got two three-time K1 world champions. This is one of them, Ernesto Hoost. The other is Peter Aerts. It is a battle to see who can become the all-time greatest K1 fighter in history by becoming a fourth-time world champion. Will it be Hoost? Will it be Aerts? Or will we have a brand new K1 champion?
C'est un combattant. Qui m'aime pas, tant mieux, comme ça fait un fight pas entre voisins, ça fait un fight, tu vois. C'est-à-dire même le mec qui va gagner, même s'il gagne contre moi, je vais le casser. Je vais te casser.
From the land of Gauls, hails Jérôme Le Banner.
Knockout man. Ça passe, ça casse. Ça passe ou ça casse. Je pense que je vais peut-être le pousser cette année pour la retraite, peut-être.
Many men have fallen victim to his power. The most feared man in K1 is set to claim his first Tokyo Dome title.
Même le mec qui va gagner, même s'il gagne contre moi, je vais le casser. Je vais te casser. C'est clair et net.
The slugger from South Auckland, Mark the Doctor Hunt. Hope, determination, and the will of God has placed him in the Tokyo Dome. His Samoan background has branded him top of the world alongside the great Kunishiki. They call him the doctor because he prescribes his fists, the sleeping pills. Will he create history and be the first oceanic champion? But one man stands in his way.
Mark Hunt said to us today in an interview earlier on, he said he wanted to go up against Le Banner to see how much he'd improve.
Let's go to Michael Buffer.
Entering the ring from the blue stage, Mark Hunt.
Well, the lights dim once again. The camera moves in on the giant portrait the size of 2 tennis courts on the face of the South Auckland slugger, the two-time K1 Oceania champion, Mark Hunt. What a rise it has been. The boy from the back streets of New Zealand, now at the top of the world in the Tokyo Dome.
And he comes out to those melodic strains of the Pacific.
Have you heard this song? Have a listen what happens halfway through this song, Mike Angover. It's not so melodic. Just you take a little bit of a listen to the music now of Mark Hunt.
From the notorious streets of South Auckland, all the way to the Tokyo Dome, Mosul, the doctor,
Oh yeah, now
The
you're
doctor's
talking.
in the house.
Mama gonna knock you out. Here he comes, folks. Listen to the crowd go wild.
That's awesome.
The South Auckland slugger Mark Hunt makes his way to centre ring. This young man has been on a meteoric rise to world fame in the past year. A two-time K-1 Oceania champion, now training out of Liverpool in Sydney with his trainer Harpain Naranoa and all the crew, being led to the ring by Harpain Dixon McIver, the one and only Mark Hunt. What a standing ovation for the young man from New Zealand and Australia, Mike Ango.
The whole of Australia and New Zealand is fighting with this man in the ring tonight. A tremendous progress he's made, just meteoric rise.
Can he do it? Can he knock out Jérôme Le Banner here tonight? Can he do what many think is completely unthinkable and knock out Le Banner?
I'm going to go out on a limb. Le Banner has never been the same since he got knocked out by another Samoan, Ray Seppo, and he won't be the same tonight. He is going to take a dose of those sleeping pills.
And in this music, Mama Gonna Knock You Out, there are some mind games happening. This is the same music Le Banner used 2 years ago when he went the furthest ever in his own K-1 Grand Prix. Mark Hunt using the same music here tonight, and what a great rousing ovation from 70,000 plus as they applaud the Samoan, the New Zealander, the Australian, the Oceania King himself, Mark Hunt.
And now a Japanese star.
I was informed earlier this week that his trading card, of course, he has a figure on dolls, on t-shirts, on trading cards. He has been sold out.
Jérôme Le
His
Banner.
popularity has risen tremendously since that amazing battle between Ray Seppo and Mark Hunt, the battle for Samoan pride. Any comments on that, Ray?
No.
I tell you what, Mark Hunt is looking a picture. He was about 122 kg, the same weight as when he fought in Fukuoka, when he fought Ray Seppo in Fukuoka, when he knocked out Adam Watt in Fukuoka, to be here in the Tokyo Dome tonight. And can he do the damage on Jérôme Le Banner, the gargantuan from France, perhaps the man with the most imposing knockout record in K1 history, Mike Ango?
I think so. I mean, it really is a long way from South Auckland. It wasn't so long ago. Mark Hunt was just a teenager kicking around South Auckland, nothing better to do. And I mean, what a tremendous role model for the kids out there. He's set his sights on a goal, and here he is,
The
3 years
troubled
later.
kids, the battling kids in South Auckland, also those in Liverpool where he now trains and lives. And Mark Hunt is not only a role model, he is an inspiration, and he is proof in existence, Ray Seppo, that even a kid from the Bronx really can get to the top of the world.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, and to answer that question, can he knock Le Banner out? Of course he can. Mark's a very talented, strong, smart fighter. And if he gives to his game and go out there and just fight the fight that he fights best, and that's knocking people out, he'll probably win this fight.
Oh, listen to that music. It is sending a shiver down the collective spine to the Tokyo Dome. It can only mean one thing. Making his way to the ring, the gargantuan from Paris, the one and only Jérôme Le Banner. Look at the size of the trapezius on this man. Look at the size of the neck. Look at the size of everything on this guy, Mike Ango. He is one huge mama.
This guy is just a walking block. He's also one of the least talkative, the least amiable fighters, particularly around K1 time.
Oh.
He is absolutely psyched for this fight.
He is built like a Mack truck. He is the human refrigerator. He is Jérôme Le Banner. And I'll tell you what, folks, no one in their right mind thinks this one's going to go to distance here tonight. It's Le Banner versus Mark Hunt in the K1 Grand Prix, and we're in the Tokyo Dome at the top of the world. The Conan the Barbarian music for Jérôme Le Banner, a very popular choice as he steps into centre ring. A lot of publicity surrounding Le Banner, a lot of people, Ray Seppo, anticipating Jérôme Le Banner to be the new K1 champion this year.
It's possible. Very, very possible.
Let's go across to Michael Buff.
Ladies and gentlemen, second quarterfinal match. K1 3-minute rounds. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing blue trimmed with white, and weighing in at 122.5 kilograms. In 33 fights, he has 23 victories, including 10 knockouts. His K1 titles include Oceania Tournament Champion 2001, third place in Melbourne 2001, and K1 World Grand Prix Fukuoka 2001 champion from New Zealand. Here is motion, Mark the Doctor Hall.
Oh yeah, what an ovation for the Dr. Mark Hunt.
And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing black, trimmed with silver, weighing in at 124 kilograms, 45 fights, 37 victories, including 29 knockouts. He's a 1995 K-1 Grand Prix finalist and placed third in 99. In 2000, he was Nagoya champion, and this year's K-1 World Grand Prix Osaka champion from France, presenting Jérôme, the battling cyborg, Le Banner.
Well, I tell you what, Le Banner at 124 kg, Mark Hunt at 123 kg. You've got more beef than a cattle ranch in centre ring, Mike. This one is going to go off. It is going to go bananas. Ladies and gentlemen, strap yourselves in. This one's going to get wild.
And look at the size difference in height between Le Banner and Hunt.
Shows no respect for this gargantuan. Look at the stare down, the typical Samoan stare down from Mark Hunt, the South Auckland slugger. We are ready to get it on. Look at the size of the biceps. There's Konishiki. You speak about size, the all-time sumo great Yokozuna Konishiki, and the size of Jérôme Le Banner. Look at the size of his biceps. They're so big, they've got their own personal area code. Mike, I tell you what, he is a big boy.
Certainly a mountain of a man, and a mountain of a man with tremendous agility, as we're about to see. And you'll notice he's a left-handed fighter, so his power is on his left-hand side, and you'll see him drift to his right hand, trying to get that straight left, which has put people through the ropes before here at Tokyo Dome.
Comments from Mike Angove ringside with myself, Michael Chavello, and Ray Sefo. Jérôme Le Banner of France versus the Kiwi come Australian Mark Hunt. And this for the right to fight Ernesto Hoost in the first semi-final. Outside thigh kick there from Le Banner. Outside thigh kick from Hunt. High left round kick from Le Banner. Hunt just shrugged it off.
And we see Le Banner uncharacteristically actually going to the legs. He's usually a hand-dominant fighter.
Almost a close knee in range there from Mark Hunt. A lot of force of will being thrown here by Jérôme Le Banner. Hunt lets wild with a big looping right hand. It came close, but no cigar.
That's the thing about Mark is, he's a big man, but he's very agile. And he throws that knee beautifully with the combinations after throwing the punch up the top, and then he comes back to the knees.
Well, can Mark Hunt land the big goodnight Irene, the big kibosh off the right hand? We all await it here in the Tokyo Dome.
Le Banner showing the signs of fighting a very clever fight, using his left leg to nullify Mark Hunt's right hand and keeping his distance. As we said earlier, we anticipated that Le Banner would not actually come forward against Mark Hunt, that he would use his distance and fight a fight looking to win on points.
Mark Hunt is sizing him up. He's got that right hand cocked and ready to explode, that's for sure.
And we see once again Mark Hunt very adept at sliding that knee in on the inside.
Outside thigh kick there from Jérôme Le Banner. Rib kick was caught on the forearms there.
Absolutely, they're showing a lot of respect for each other because they both know they both pack a punch, and so they're just taking their time right now in the first round.
Snappy left hand there from Mark Hunt.
Le Banner's actually being very, very clever. He's landing a right hook just over the top of Mark Hunt's left jab, and people who haven't seen Mark Hunt fight would be mistaken in thinking that Mark Hunt is actually quite a slow fighter. His jab actually sets up a lock, and he's got an uncharacteristically fast jab, so to counter with the right hand.
So powerful, Mark Hunt. If he hits you, you'll starve to death rolling, that's for sure. Especially if he lands the goodnight Irene off that right hand, the big bok choy. Jérôme Le Banner just stalking in, pushing Mark Hunt to the outside of the ring. Le Banner controlling the center of the ring, Ray Sefo.
That's right. Jérôme's actually fighting a very smart fight. He's working off his jab, throwing the head kick, and then body kick. So he's fighting very, very smart. And he has to right now because, like we said earlier, if Mark lands, he's likely to go.
Let's just be very careful with Mark Hunt. He's got both his hands carried rather low, and he's got to be very careful. Jérôme has already shown that he's got a very, very quick high left leg kick.
Le Banner moving forward again, trying to back Mark Hunt into the blue corner now. Launches that rear leg round kick, that being the left leg of the southpaw from France.
Mark, his rhythm's just been put a little off here. Jerome not engaging in a slugfest on the inside.
Well, Hunt wants to get stuck into it. He wants to go swinging on the big Frenchman, Jérôme Le Banner. Ray Sefo, how do you see the first round?
Well, that looks like, you know, I would give that a draw.
Yeah.
They both, you know, came out and threw a lot of punches and a lot of kicks just to show each other that they're actually, you know, they have a lot of respect for each other, but also they're willing to basically knock each other out.
The corner there working over the gargantuan Jérôme Le Banner. We're about to spearhead into the second round. How did you see it, Lightning Mike, as we go to the replays?
I think Le Banner showed the signs of fighting a very, very smart fighter, sticking to his game plan from the outside. And there we see the left head kick going high. Mark Hunt has to be very, very careful to keep his right hand high, otherwise he's going to catch one. And it's not like a punch, it's a lot more powerful, so we could see Mark Hunt go down if he gets caught flush there.
We're about to rumble in the second round. This one's scheduled for 3x3. One of these men will face Ernesto Hoost in the first semi-final. Will it be the Frenchman or will it be South Auckland's own Mark Hunt? Here we go, second round. Hunt in the blue trunks, Jérôme Le Banner in the traditional black gladiatory styled trunks. Outside thigh kick by Le Banner. He tagged him with a right hand, but Hunt retaliates. Now they're going at it hammer and tongue. They're going for it in center ring. Here comes the slugfest.
And listen to the crowd go wild. This is what they've come to see. Mark Hunt throwing those sleeping pills.
The ticking time bombs have exploded here in the second round.
I don't think this is the sort of fight that Jerome really wants to fight. I think he should really stick to what he did in the first round because Mark can't take those shots, but he also can throw them.
Mark Hunt is showing Jérôme Le Banner no respect whatsoever. Tags him with another big tub-thumping right hand. The big boom shakalaka.
And as you can see, Le Banner still maintaining that distance. Mark Hunt really has to try and force Le Banner to fight his own fight. See if he can get Le Banner to start thinking about his pride, thinking about ego, and then we see a vicious inside leg kick. And start to throw bombs, and that way Mark Hunt can sneak inside and use his strength to his advantage.
That snappy jab of Jérôme Le Banner like a trip hammer on the nose of Mark Hunt. Tags him again. Hunt just gets a little bit of distance between them, trying to fire out the big kibosh off the left hand. Just whistled past the brow of Le Banner, and the referee separates both men. 1 minute 20 down here in the second stanza. Short right hand there by Hunt, went through the guard of Le Banner. Le Banner winds up the high left round kick, that being the rear leg of the southpaw. Hunt just trying to size him up and work that right hand. He's got it cocked and ready for action. He's going to try and pull out the heavy artillery now.
Be good to see Mark Hunt actually stringing on a left hook after his right hand. At the moment, he's been a bit too one-dimensional.
Right.
And Le Banner's just sitting off. He's able to use his distance well. And there we see it
Le Banner with the knee in close. Might have hurt Mark Hunt with that one, trying to get up to the head of Hunt. Hunt all backed up, nowhere to go in the neutral corner. And now they go slugging again. Well, Mark Hunt trying to fire his way out of there. Le Banner goes in and ties him up.
There we see Le Banner. Again, he's backing off. He is scared of this fighter.
Mark Hunt's taunting him, saying, come on, Frenchie, what do you got for me? Le Banner is not impressed. Mark Hunt showing no respect. Big right hand from Mark Hunt. Oh, no, here's it! He's rocked him! He's rocked him! He's rocked him!
He's gonna go!
Oh, no!
Jerome's gonna keep to. He's gonna go! Mark's got him! He's gonna go!
He's got him! Oh, no! Oh, my God! It's the most amazing moment in K-1 history! Le Banner's gone! The big kibosh! The big kibosh! The big kibosh is gone!
Mark Hunt has done it! The man from South
Listen to the crowd go bananas!
But this is the thing what we were saying before, guys, you know, Jerome really can't afford to actually stand there and go toe-to-toe with Mark.
The big kibosh!
Absolutely.
He's done it! Mark Hunt has done the unthinkable. He has knocked out Jérôme Le Banner. Jérôme Le Banner was planted like a tree. He was knocked all the way back to Paris.
Jérôme Le Banner, he got careless, he got confident, started to fight Mark Hunt's game, and he paid the penalty. He went down.
Ray Sefo, you better get out the straight jacket for me. You better get the oxygen mask. I tell you what, Mark Hunt has done the unthinkable.
Like what we said before, you know, he can knock him out. And we did say earlier.
Unbelievable, Mark Hunt. He goes back to the dressing room. He will take on Ernesto Hoost. Jérôme Le Banner has not been beaten. He has been absolutely clobbered. Let's have a look at it again. The most amazing moment in K-1 history. The boy from South Auckland has come out of nowhere to knock out the gargantuan. Boom, boom,
This was exactly the type of fight we said that Jérôme didn't want to fight.
Jérôme was gone. Jérôme was good night, Aureen, all the way, Mike Angove.
And let's look at the way Mark Hunt finished that fight. He's a short man, he's a big man. You don't expect hand speed or intensity like that from such a big man. And he just piled on the pressure. Jérôme Le Banner lost his composure, and there he goes down.
I tell you what, Jérôme Le Banner took more battering than a piece of fish in that round, and the big frog went down to the canvas. Unbelievable, Jérôme Le Banner. All the publicity, all the money, all the talk on Le Banner, and he is out of here.
The little man from South Auckland and Redfern in Australia.
They will be going bananas in South Auckland and Liverpool and Redfern here tonight.
I wouldn't say little man anymore, though.
Oh, no, he's the big man. He's a big name. Le Banner was out on his feet. He was taking a trip down the boulevard of broken dreams.
Well, I guess Le Banner's going to have nightmares about Samoans.
I tell you what, Ray Sefo, the only way to describe that was brutal.
Well, that was absolutely fantastic. It was great for Mark. He did what he had to do. He kept his composure in the first round, and you know, he did again in the second, and just picked his shots.
I think given the opportunity, Mark Hunt saw the gap, he followed up, he went to business, he did the job. As you see, Jérôme Le Banner, he'll be tremendously disappointed. A very bloody Jérôme Le Banner. Won't be looking forward to stepping in the ring with either Ray Sefo or Mark Hunt in the future.
本当にもう北海道から沖縄まで全員の力を合わせて僕の力に貸してください。一生懸命やりますのでよろしくお願いします。
Originally from Denmark, he is Japan's new rising sun, Nicholas Pettas. Some say he will fill the shoes of the late great Andy Hoost. The Kyokushin exponent has a mountain to climb. Alexey Ignashov. The red scorpion sting is not in his tail, it's in his knees. This mountain of a man is the pride of Russia.
Ladies and gentlemen, our third quarter-final match. Entering the ring from the blue stage, Alexey Ignashov.
Well, the camera hones in on the giant portrait of the Crushing Russian. The Moscow Express, the big red machine, they call him the Red Scorpion, Alexey Ignashov, the winner of the K-1 World Grand Prix in Nagoya. The man with perhaps the most lethal knees in the K-1 at the moment. Will Ignashov be able to take care of business against the much shorter, much lighter Kyokushin exponent, Nicholas Pettas? Ray Sefo, your thoughts on Alexey Ignashov?
But the guy is a very big man. I mean, he's taller than Le Banner. He has a very good 1-2 behind him. He shows the knee tremendously well, and he's a confident fighter. So, really, for Nick to win this fight, he really needs to stick and move all night.
Making his way to the ring, the big red scorpion from Russia, Alexey Ignashov. Mike Angove, one of your favourite fighters here in the K-1, Alexey Ignashov, because he is a Muay Thai exponent, those beautiful knees that he gets up so high to really plant his opponents with.
He really is a beautiful technical fighter, beautiful and straight line fighter with fantastic knees, got an extraordinary ability to keep him up high. And you notice the guy, he's the baby face of the K1, always smiling, always...
I thought I was.
No, you're the beautiful face of the K1, right?
Okay.
Judging from all the women flocking around you.
A few years ago, Ray Sefo was the baby face of the K1, but he's got old and battered now. It's time for the young men to come through.
He's out of nappies now, that's the thing.
Not that old.
Well, just passing past our commentary position, the red scorpion, Alexey Ignashov. He is a big boy, around about 6'6", Mike.
Oh, he's a huge man and deceptively big. In fact, he's 120
steps over the
kilos
top
of
rope.
man.
Yeah. Traditional Muay Thai style to step over the top rope in a fight. They never go through the ropes.
And now entering the ring from the red stage, here is Nicolas Pettas.
Well, the camera closes in on Nicolas Pettas, the Kyokushin exponent, very much in the mould of the late great Andy Hug, I suppose, Ray Sefo. A shorter fighter, a very powerful fighter, and a man who's only had really 4 or 5 K1 fights, but has already made it here to the Tokyo Dome. You've got to give him A grade for heart, Nicolas Pettas.
Oh, for sure. Nicolas he's a warrior, and that comes from that Kyokushin spirit. And for this fight, I know that he's trained tremendously hard for it. And I know for a fact that Nicolas himself actually lives in Japan and been here for the last 10 years. And he's got to come out here. And for him, this is his people, so he's got to fight for them out here, you know?
He has been doing extensive boxing work, of course, alongside Francisco Filho with another New Zealander, Filho Mai.
That's right. Fi's been working very hard with them, and, you know, Nick's hands have improved a lot.
The Kyokushin kanji over the heart of the gi, that is the karate uniform, the gi of Nicolas Pettas. A several Dan Kyokushin black belt. Kyokushin is renowned, Mike Angove, as the hardest style of karate.
Well, started by Masuyama, who really was the as we see in the background, Pai Falamoi from Auckland, New Zealand, once again. Samoan influence taking over here in Tokyo.
The Samoan power.
And as I was saying, coming from the Kyokushin background, very, very hard style of karate. Very, very determined style. They pride themselves on their fighting spirit.
The strength of the Kyokushinkai has to be the big leg kicks, Ray. Mike, you'd have to agree on that one. Big leg kickers, the Kyokushin boys.
Right, right.
I think Nicolas Pettas coming into this fight, that is his opportunity to win. Perhaps landing the big leg kicks and also the short punches on the inside.
Let's go across for the official introductions and Michael Buffer.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, this is our third quarter-final match scheduled for 3 3-minute rounds. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing red trimmed with gold, his weight 109.5 kilograms. He has 57 fights with 54 victories, including 29 knockouts. This martial arts world champion captured the Nagoya K-1 World Grand Prix 2001 championship from Belarus. Here is Alexey the Scorpion Ignashov. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing black trimmed with blue. He weighed in at 104.5 kilograms. This Karate-Do champion has just 8 fights with 5 victories, 3 losses, and 4 of his 5 victories by knockout. But he comes with solid credentials as the K-1 Japan Grand Prix 2001 champion from Denmark, Wakajishi Nicolas Pettas.
Well, what a rousing ovation for Nicolas Pettas. As Ray was saying, he has lived in Japan for a number of years. He does speak fluent Japanese, has adopted a lot of the Japanese traditions and customs.
His wife is also Japanese, and he as the winner of the Japan K1, he really is their representative here tonight. And look at the size difference between these two men. If anyone is the underdog here tonight, it's Nicolas Pettas.
A David and Goliath battle. I tell you what, Alexey Ignashov is so tall. When he stands up, he gets nosebleeds. Have a look at the size of this guy. He is huge.
He is a very tall man.
I mean, I'm 6'3", and I was walking down the corridor.
He even belittles you. Yeah.
I was looking up at him, and
Yep.
it's scary. This guy towers above everyone here tonight.
Five Filho stepping out of the ring. Last minute instructions for Nicholas Pettas. A David versus Goliath battle. It is Russia versus Denmark, an all-European affair. Both men touch gloves and we're underway. Expect the high knees. Trying to plant one onto the temple or under the chin of Pettas from the Red Scorpion, Alexey Ignashov. And folks, if you've just joined us, you missed out on Mark Hunt knocking the lights out of Jérôme Le Banner, and he will fight Ernesto Hoost in the first semi-final of the K-1 Grand Prix 2001, Mike.
What a tremendous achievement that was.
Oh, looping high right rail kick there by Nicholas Pettas, and a knee just sending Pettas down on the back foot.
Very lucky to get away with it without an 8 count there, because that was a legitimate knockdown with a knee there from Ignashov. You see how quick and adept he is at putting those knees to the head.
There's the big knee to the midsection from Ignashov, and he might have caught himself at the border. Well, I'll tell you what, Nicholas Pettas will be auditioning for the Danish Boys Choir after that one. That one caught him sweetly around the old crown jewels. We're going to say a quick goodbye to Ray Sefo. Ray, just hop back on there once more. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll probably have a bit of a chat to you later on. And what a great show it's been so far, Ray. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Mike. It's always tremendous to work with you, and you're doing a fantastic job.
Been a pleasure. Thank you very much. The Sugarfoot himself, Ray Sefo. And no doubt we'll get swamped by as many fans. We are going to be joined right now by the head of the K-1 Oceania, the super promoter himself, Tarak Solak, joining us ringside. Tarak, a good evening to you.
Good evening, gentlemen. Isn't it great to see all this excitement here at Tokyo Dome tonight?
Oh, unbelievable. 70,000 plus have witnessed Mark Hunt, the boy from South Auckland, knock the lights out on Jérôme Le Banner. And right now, will they see a David and Goliath battle? Tarak, it's huge. Alexey Ignashov against the smaller Nicholas Pettas.
Yes, and Alexey's known for his big knees, as we saw him execute a couple of those knees just earlier on. However, one of them seemed to be a bit low, but it'll be very exciting to see these up-and newcomers like Mark Hunt and Alexey do well in these big Grand Prix events.
Comments there from the super promoter and the head of the K-1 Oceania, Tarak Solak, ringside with myself, Michael Chavello, and lightning Mike Angave.
The one advantage Pettas does, although Ignashov is very adept with the knees, in K1 they discourage extended periods of grappling, so if he can get inside and nullify those knees by holding around the waist and then wait for the fight to move out into the open again, Pettas can take advantage of his kicking ability. But there we see the knees going high.
And then crashing one, a jumping knee into the rib cage and one to the spine there from Alexey Ignashov, the Red Scorpion. Nicholas Pettas taking quite a few knocks here in the first round. Into the final 20 seconds now. Ignashov moving forward, tying him up in that tied grapple. You cannot grapple for extended periods of time, however, under K1 rules, Mike.
No, you've only got 3 seconds to deliver techniques, and then the referee will come in and break it off. Ignashov, however, fighting a very smart game. He's throwing a couple of techniques, using his size to push Pettas off, and then come in again.
Outside thigh kick was well checked there from Ignashov. Another one there from Pettas and another. Those big baseball breaking thigh kicks on the Kyokushin Karateka. Referee separates both men into the final seconds now of this round. How do you see it so far, Tarak?
Well, I see Ignashov
Oh, the axe kick there from Nicholas Pettas. As we said, reminisce of the late great Andy Hug. The axe kick there from the Kyokushin guy, Nicholas Pettas.
Yes, I just see Ignashov a bit more stronger than Pettas on this particular fight. He's just a huge Russian.
Tell you what, huge is an understatement for this man. 120 kilos, 6'6", Alexey Ignashov, and more of those blinding knees into the right ribcage of Nicholas Pettas. End of the first round. How do you see it, Mike?
Certainly, I think Ignashov dominated that round. If Pettas is going to win this fight, he really needs to get to work with hand speed and combinations rather than just throwing the single shots, as we've seen from a lot of the fighters tonight.
Five Filho working the corner over there of Nicholas Pettas. What would he be saying to Nicholas at this stage?
I think what he'd be saying is either you're in or you're out. You can't afford to stand just inside the Russians' range, and we see tremendous flexibility there from Pettas. But you'll notice Ignashov very, very adept with his Thai style at taking advantage of catching the leg and executing a takedown from there.
Tarak Solak, will we see Ignashov try and knock out Nicholas Pettas here in the second round, make it a short affair so he can move on relatively fresh into the semi-final?
Well, that's the whole ideal for all the fighters when it's a tournament-style fighting, to knock your opponent out as quickly as you can so you're injury-free for the next fight coming up, and you stocked up all your energy.
Well, Nicholas Pettas took quite a bit of beating around the ribcage from those knees of Alexey Ignashov in the first round. the Red Scorpion.
Be good to see Pettas using his legs, but coming off his legs, second phasing up top with hands, for example, throwing a low leg kick, then coming back with either a right hand or a left hook. And
Nice short right hand to the temple. You called it well there, Mike Angove.
And that's Pettas starting to use his head a little more.
Well, catching the kicking leg and trying to sweep out the supporting leg there. A Muay Thai technique from the Kyokushinkai exponent.
Well, Nicholas Pettas is certainly shown that he's catching on fast and adapting, which is good signs for the future for him. He's very, very new to the K1 game.
Nice outside thigh kicks to the lead thigh there from Pettas. Both men are conventional fighters, neither is southpaw.
Pettas starting to use the ring a little better. And that's a good move from him. He can't afford to stay inside the range. As I was saying earlier, if he moves around and makes Ignashov come to him, lovely spinning back kick there.
Ushidogeri, they call that one in Kyokushinkai. A turning back kick to the midsection from Nicholas Pettas. I'm getting down with my Japanese this week, Mike.
I know you've been taking lessons, haven't you?
Yeah, it's all that ordering at the sushi restaurant. Ignashov comes forward again, looking to tie up. He's got him! He's got him! The big high knee, and Ignashov just laughs. He is laughing at Pettas. Pettas is dazed. He does not know where he is. Well, he shakes it off, and the ref says it's all over. It's good night, Irene.
For those of you who thought Pettas rather should have carried on, if you had a look at his nose, it was absolutely smashed. There's no way he could have continued in that fight. Ignashov once again showing what a devastating knee fighter he is.
Tarak Solak, who can stop this man? The Ivan Drago of K1, Alexey Ignashov.
Hopefully Mark Hunt in the final. But as I said, when I just first sat down in the boxing, that Ignashov is very dangerous with those big knees. Such a big man, just brings it up so well, and that was his way of winning the fight.
Tell you what, he'll be eating his dinner out of the back of his head after that one, Nicholas Pettas. Let's have a look at it again. What a huge knee. And it was lights out, or at least a broken nose and a half there for Nicholas Pettas. Mike Ango, quite simply a brutal, devastating knockout from Alexey Ignashov.
Ignashov once again showing his ability with the knees, but really a David and Goliath battle. And when you're as proficient as Ignashov is with the knees, Pettas needed to be a lot busier and not to get caught on the inside. Awesome prospects for the next fight coming up for Ignashov.
Look at the head just rolled back. And Pettas' legs went, his nose went. He didn't know where he was. He was back in Denmark for all he cared. Blood streaming from his nostrils. And it's all over for Pettas, Tarak.
How exciting would this be if both these newcomers, Mark Hunt and Ignashov, make it to the final?
It would be unheard of, wouldn't it?
Hunt just goes for that big head hunting with his big punches, and Ignashov having someone short like Mark that's going to try to knee his head off, it'll just be an extra exciting fight.
What I've got you, I have to ask, Mark Hunt versus Ernesto Hoost, a rematch from what we saw in the K1 Melbourne that you hosted. How do you think Mark Hunt will go against the triple and defending K1 world champion?
If Hoost fights the same way he fought in Melbourne, I think Mark will definitely win the fight. However, Hoost is a much better fighter when the money's a lot bigger in the tournament, and as we know here tonight, Australian dollars, we got over $1 million prize money for the winners, so I think Hoost will come out a little bit different. But then again, Mark's got a big confidence now over him with the last knockout with Jérôme Le Banner.
Some say his career is over. Yet others still claim him to be the greatest. The Dutch lumberjack, Peter Aerts. Will this be the end of Aerts or a whole new beginning?
I fight so long time, we have so much experience. We can have big mouths, but between the ropes is different. But we can talk.
The pride of Kyokushin is on his shoulders. He is one of only 4 men to complete the 100-man kumite.
For me, being Kyokushin world champion was everything. All my life I was looking for that. And then since I started fighting K1, so it was a new thing. So I tried I want to accomplish 100 like successful. So I want to have, I want to be the champion too.
He is Francisco Filho, and they call him the God Hand.
Ladies and gentlemen, here at Tokyo Dome, we go to our last K-1 quarterfinal match. Coming to the ring at this time from the blue stage, Peter Aerts.
You can see the lights flashing here on the Tokyo Dome, 70,000 plus on hand. Peter Aerts, folks, as Mike Angove said earlier on, a lot of people are saying he's washed up. A lot of people are saying he's at the end of his career. But I know for a fact, Tarek Solik, that you are probably backing Peter Aerts as a strong favourite here tonight.
I always back Peter Aerts as a strong favourite any day of the week because not only because of the technique that he's got, he's a true fighter, he's a true champion. He has been on a back step the last couple of years that he's been fighting. But let's not forget, last year he lost with bad luck, not with a bad loss. And I think that he can always be a great surprise and he can always take this tournament out.
We should also note that Peter Aerts has trained in Thailand for 18 days in the lead up to this tournament. He's been training out of the Muay Thai gym, the ISS camp, which has produced so many great Thai fighters all the way from Thailand, training with Sifu Robert McGuinness and also Peter Hoovers. So he's in very good hands here tonight, Mike.
Certainly, Robert McGuinness is currently has under his charge 2 WC world champions, the Thai world champions at lighter weights. So Peter Aerts' boxing will have sharpened up. He's in an environment where it's just training all the time. So he is single-minded tonight, singularly focused on only one thing. That is becoming the fourth man.
The only 4-time world K1 champion. That's what you're trying to say.
I was trying to say it, but it wouldn't come out.
I tell you what, in his heyday, Peter Aerts, when he was winning the K1 back in 94 and 95 and in 98, he was a pure knockout artist, wasn't he, Tara?
Yes, he was. And when you were saying that the fourth champion, wouldn't it be interesting to see tonight Ernesto Hoost versus Peter Aerts for the final? And they both won this 3 times, so one of them will definitely be the fourth champion.
Battle for the all-time great.
Let's not rule out the new up-and-comers, Mark Hunt and Ignashov. They're both looking very dangerous.
And they both won by knockouts here tonight.
They both won with a very good knockout, so I'm not ruling either one of these boys out.
This is the face of fear. This is the face of a former 3-time world K1 champion. He is the Dutch lumberjack, Peter Aerts. You talk about knockout artists. You talk about mean, punishing, brutal fighters, and you talk about this guy, Peter Aerts. He is one mean son of a gun, Tarek Soleh.
Yes, he is, and he's definitely been one of my favorites all my life, and I love seeing his high kicks, especially to the back of the neck, which not many fighters can execute.
He is a man who carved a niche of invincibility in the mid-1990s when he was knocking out the likes of Hug, Maurice Smith, Ernesto Hoost, Masaki Satake, and many, many more. And tonight, will he be able to knock out the man they dubbed the God Hand, Francisco Filho?
And now coming to the ring from the red stage, here is Francisco Filho.
Well, the camera just pans away from the shot there of Francisco Filho. Many believe this to be his final K1 tournament ever, Mike Angove. And can he go out on a high and win the whole kit and caboodle?
Well, it's a big ask for Francisco. He's typically been a little bit one-dimensional, not dynamic enough to take and to adapt to all the different fighting styles which you require in the K1. But talking to him earlier this year in Fukuoka, he said it's his last year. He said he wants to go out with a bang. There's rumours of him having a pretty serious injury, but he's here nonetheless.
They are not rumours. I will confirm it. I have had confirmation from Filho Moy and others in the camp of Francisco Filho. He has a very bad injury to his lead knee, that being the left knee of Francisco Filho. A very severe injury, Tarek Solak. How do you think it'll shape up here tonight?
I can guarantee you one thing, if he does win the tournament tonight, there's no way that the promoters let him go for next year and not let him fight. So that's, if he wins, that's out of the question that they'll retire him because the offer will be too sweet for him. But Filho, being a great fighter over the years, a good knockout specialist with a lot of strength in him. He's very hot and very cold at times. He can come up with any surprise.
Well, I think you hit it on the head there, Tarek. When he first started back in 1997, when he crossed from Kyokushin into K1, he knocked out Andy Hug in one round, Van der Merwe in one round, and Sam Greco in one round. What a debut of fire, and that's what led him to be called the God Hand. He used to have this right hand that would seemingly come out of nowhere and knock his opponents out unconscious.
He can do anything at any time.
Mike Angove again, the traditional Kyokushin gi, the Kyokushin kanji over the heart of Francisco Filho. He is a true martial arts warrior.
He will have the hearts of thousands of Kyokushin practitioners around the world fighting with him in the ring.
You know how many he'll have? You know how many Kyokushin practitioners there are around the world?
Why don't you tell us how many?
2.5 million. It is the most practiced martial art on earth. 2.5 million Kyokushin exponents will be cheering him on.
And I'm Mike Angove, sitting here with the human encyclopedia, Mike Chavello, right here in Tokyo Dome Sea.
3-minute rounds. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing black trimmed with red and weighing in at 101 kilograms. 88 fights, 70 victories, including 54 knockouts. Ladies and gentlemen, from Holland, the three-time K-1 World Grand Prix champion, the Dutch lumberjack, Peter Aerts. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing green trimmed with yellow. In 18 fights, 12 victories, including 8 knockouts. His K1 record includes the 2000 Yokohama Championship, third place K1 World Tournament, and in 2001 the K1 World Grand Prix Fukuoka Championship. From Brazil, please welcome Ichigeki Francisco Filho.
Rousing applause there for the Brazilian Francisco Filho, wearing the traditional Brazilian colours of green and yellow on his trunks. He may very well be called the Ronaldo, I suppose, of kickboxing and Kyokushin. A man who exploded earlier on his career, sustained a lot of injuries of late, but is still going and still considered by many to be one of the very best on the face of the earth.
Very difficult man to beat, very good counter fighter and deceptively fast with his legs. However, if he's carrying an injury and if it is on his lead leg, Peter Aerts is a notorious leg kicker, and that could have devastating effects if he lands one there.
Let's make note of that once more. We have confirmed there is a major injury on the left knee, that being the lead knee of Francisco Filho. Whether or not Peter Aerts will attack that lead thigh of Filho is yet to be seen, but it is confirmed he is carrying a major injury to that area. Peter Aerts, as we said, has been training at the ISS camp in Thailand, a strict Muay Thai training regime for the past 20 days. And he basically said in the press conference that every day was an absolute nightmare of training. Outside thigh kick there from Francisco Filho, 30 seconds into the final, I should say the first round. A real filling up process here, Mike.
Definitely. Peter Aerts, early on, finding his distance, really working his left jab well. Just on that training in Thailand, it's a tremendously difficult training environment. The temperatures are absolutely tremendous, getting up to 45 degrees at times. I trained there for a couple of months myself, lost 8 kilograms within a week of training there.
I should head over there.
I think you can lose 8 kilos there just by walking around in the heat.
I'm going there for my next holidays.
So I think you were cheating, Mike. You should have, if you trained hard, you would have lost 16.
Obviously, I wasn't training hard enough, but we really see Peter Aerts actually getting on early and starting to dominate. And I have never actually seen Peter Aerts this cut up, not since his early days as a youngster on the K1 circuit.
Snapping out that long probing jab, the outside thigh kick to that damaged left leg, inside thigh kick there from Aerts. Outside thigh kick off the rear leg from Francisco Filho.
Filho really needs to start to work those hands a little bit more if he's going to compete with Aerts. As I said earlier, he's getting a little more confident with his hands, but he has to start using his jab to establish distance and not rely on his kicks so much.
The looping high Mawashi Geri, that being the roundhouse kick of the Kyokushin exponent from Francisco Filho. And Aerts really stalking him at the moment, Mike.
Certainly. Aerts has got onto his range straight away. Again, as with Hoost, showing the experience of a tournament fighter who's been there before. He's preserving himself. He's not rushing in and throwing shots that are going to cause him injury. He's just picking his shots, doing what he has to do to win the fight.
Peter Aerts is backing up Francisco Filho, and Tarek, it's not often that you see Francisco backed up in a fight.
No, not very often, but like Mike said, they're both being very cautious, and Filho's got his hands very high, knowing that Peter can throw those big high right roundhouse kicks, which is going to be pretty hard to catch Filho off to be in the karate fight.
Big right hand just tags him and twists the head of Peter Aerts. Aerts just shrugs it off.
Aerts saw that coming early. Filho just telegraphing it a little bit. Filho can't rely on the single punch, though. He really does have to use his boxing skills, as we saw in Fukuoka against Lloyd Van Damme. Oh, and then we saw the counter right hand.
Well, Francisco Filho, those hands that have been trained by Five Lamoy in his corner, really working a treat at the moment. Peter Aerts goes away to that outside left thigh again, awfully close to that damaged knee. We're into the final 10 seconds. An outside thigh kick there from Filho.
And I think we can already see Filho, he's really propping on his front leg there. Very, very cautious about it.
End of the first round of action. Tarek Solak, how did you see it?
First round, let's not forget that Filho knows that Peter's been knocked out with good right hands last couple of times that he's been knocked out, so I think that's his fight plan, but nevertheless the fight's still too early.
Very much a feeling out round. I think Peter landing some good shots down low. The signs for Peter were strong in that he did establish his distance fairly quickly and showed that he had the measure of Filho there. Now, as we see Filho landing the overhand right, and we'll just see it here again, Peter Aerts perhaps lucky that he wasn't walking in, because Filho has shown in the past he has tremendous power on that right hand.
Aerts has often been susceptible to that overhand right, hasn't he, Mike?
Certainly, that's been the punch that has knocked him out. It was the punch that did the damage with Leko down in Las Vegas in the States earlier on this year.
Second down!
And also Mike Bernardo knocked him out twice with an overhand right.
Seconds out, says third man in centering, Nombwaki Kakura. We're about to rumble in the second round. Peter Aerts of Holland against Francisco Filho of Brazil. It is Europe versus South America for a right to fight. Alexey Ignashov in the second semi-final.
Then we see Francisco just starting to work the leg of Peter. He really needs to follow up with hands.
We will see both men turn on the adrenaline, step up into the next gear in this round. Another slapping outside thigh kick there from Filho.
Look for the high leg kick. If you notice, high head kick. Peter does drop his left hand sometimes when he's kicked in the leg. If Filho can get him to drop his hand and then drop one over the top, we could see a knockout.
Peter Aerts is in this tournament as Master Issue selection. He is the fan selection here today. And in response to that, he said that he will win the tournament for his fans as they voted him in to compete here tonight, Tarek.
That's right, and if you look at this fight carefully, both fighters being experienced, they're taking their time, they're pulling off like Ernesto Hoost was earlier on. But the next round fights, we've got two newcomers and they're going to be attacking the opponents. And when that happens, it's a cat and mouse kind of fight and there'll be knockouts for sure.
Comments there from the super promoter and the king of the K-1 Oceania, Tarek Solak, ringside with myself, Michael Chavello, and Lightning Mike Angove, the New Zealand 8-man champion.
You see Peter not dominating as much in this round. He's become a little bit more wary. Certainly, I think, with Filho landing kicks to the front leg.
Well, into the first real crackle of the fight. Neither man throwing enough knees on that occasion. Referee Kakura breaking both men up. Peter Aerts really leading with that jab. He throws a couple of jabs, then tries to come through with a good night Irene right hand. He's yet to get that leg kick really up high around the looping head of Filho. Filho trying to go outside the left thigh.
Filho's always been carried a very high guard, very adept with the head kicks. So I think Peter trying to draw his attention down low before he goes up high.
Nice inside thigh kick there from Filho.
It will be quite difficult to catch a martial artist with a high kick because they can read the kicks just coming so well.
I'll tell you what's happening in this round is Peter Aerts is starting to feel those kicks to his front leg, and he's concerned about sustaining damage for the later fights. He's really got to think about this fight and start to think about piling on the points against Francisco Filho. Otherwise, it could go to a draw, it could go to an extension, and he's going to have to fight another unnecessary round.
While those leg kicks of Francisco Filho have been scoring on the lead thigh, it is reddened up, it is bruised already of Peter Aerts. I'm having a good look at it right now, and Aerts is very aware of the pain that's been incurred on that lead thigh.
Certainly, Aerts going to the hands now rather than his legs. I'm just wondering whether he's damaged his right leg in some way.
Peter Aerts' lead thigh goes to the outside left thigh. A very high thigh kick, that one there from Aerts onto Filho. tries to come over the top of the short right hand. Filho backed himself into a corner now. Probing jab again there by Aerts, but not following up into the final 10 seconds of this round. Another good inside fire kick, tried for the outside fire. Aerts was a little bit too quick for him.
This is turning into a bit of a kicking duel, rather than the hands we thought we might see.
Well, there it is, into the second round of action. How do you see it so far, Tarek?
I see the fight very close. I actually can't pick a winner at this stage.
Would you go 2 even rounds?
2 even rounds. I think they're both going to wait for this last round to pour it on.
Mike Ango?
As we look towards Peter's corner, we actually saw him wincing there when his trainer went down to his leg to attend to that leg, putting ice on the leg, rubbing the leg. Peter Aerts is actually feeling it in his lead left leg, which is not a good sign, not only for this fight, but for the upcoming fights if he gets through.
Well, have a look at the corner now. Ken Amaya, the K-1 director, in the corner of Peter Aerts. Aerts might be too badly damaged with that lead fighter. Go on, boys.
We can fix it. We can fix it.
Certainly, there's something going on there.
Let's have a listen in.
I think they're going to call it off.
Certainly, something's happened to Peter's left leg there.
This could be tragedy for Peter Aerts. The ringside physique. It's all over. Well, how about that? It is all over. They've thrown in the towel. The leg kicks, the Kyokushin leg kicks of Francisco Filho were just too much, Mike.
Certainly, I think Peter's sustained some sort of injury there, perhaps. Oh, he's broken his foot.
He's broken his foot.
If you have a look down, he's a huge swelling on the top of his foot. You can see it there. He's broken his foot. Sensible move not to continue. He certainly wouldn't have been able to continue into the next round, so Francisco Filho moves through.
Tarek, that is a tragedy for Peter Aerts.
Yes, and I said at the beginning of the fight that if he's not injured, he can win this tournament. Unfortunately, as fighters get older, they sustain more injuries, and it's harder for them to get rid of their injuries.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, our 2 semi-finals are set. It will be Australia and New Zealand's own Mark Hunt against Ernesto Hoost, and Francisco Filho against the big red scorpion, Alexey Ignashov. Tarek Solek, thank you very much for joining us. It's been a pleasure as always, and I'm sure you're going to head backstage and try and psych Mark Hunt up around with the rest of the crew.
Thank you very much, gentlemen, and it's been a pleasure working with you guys.
As Tarek Solek takes off the headphones, Francisco Filho is victorious. He will face Alexey Ignashov. Only 4 men now remaining, Mike Angove, in the battle to be the K-1 King of Kings.
Well, they said this year that they wanted new blood. Certainly they have it with Ignashov and Mark Hunt. The old pros there, and Francisco Filho. Francisco Filho has got to fancy his chances now against the young kid Ignashov. Ignashov, nothing to lose. He's going to come out all guns blazing. As with Mark Hunt, he's been there before with Ernesto. Now he's on the world stage. He'd love to perform and pull this one off and get to the final and fight for that $1 million.
Francisco Filho, the long walk back to the dressing room, says a quiet prayer, looks up to the heavens, and here's a man who is psyched and is ready. He knows that he may be on his way to making history. If this is indeed his final year in the K1, as so many pundits say it is, then he wants to go out on a winning note. This man here, Peter Aerts, has been there, done that. A 3-time K1 world champion, but not tonight with a foot that looks like it's got a golf ball shoved in it. We go backstage into the dressing room of Ernesto Hoost, the 3-time defending K1 champion, and we do have word that he may have a broken foot.
And we see there the wraps coming off.
Well, yes, Johan Voss is taking the wraps off Ernesto Hoost. He will not face Mark Hunt, nor will he be able to defend his world championship. And we do have the ringside physician in censoring at the moment, currently explaining Ernesto Hoost has broken his left foot. Oh, look at the swelling there.
See there, a very similar injury to Peter Aerts. I mean, how ironic, the 2 3-time K1 world champions,
2 Dutchmen, yeah.
both out, and 2 Dutchmen. The Dutch contingent cannot be very happy this evening.
Well, some oohs and ahs from this huge crowd here of 70,000. Aerts and Hoost both out due to the same injury, Mike.
Certainly, and remember, these guys are extraordinarily tough men. They have fought through cracked shin bones, broken hands before, but it goes to show you damage your feet and you can't continue. Very difficult to fight effectively once that
Nobaki Kakura is explaining to the crowd that it will now be Stefan Leko of Germany to take on New Zealand and Australia's Mark Hunt. Ernesto Hoost very disappointed backstage. He does not get the chance to take home the big cash here tonight, nor does he get the chance to write his name into the history books as maybe a 4-time world K1 champion. It won't happen for him this year. And it looks like Ernesto might have to wait another year to try and snatch that place in history books.
Alexey K-1 World Grand Prix 2001.
Well, we are about to get underway in the first semi-final, the K-1 Grand Prix 2001. Coming at you from the Tokyo Dome, 70,000 plus on hand at the top of the martial arts world. I'm Michael Chavello, ringside with Lightning, Mike Angove and Adam Watt, and we're about to see New Zealand and Australia's own Mark Hunt, the boy from South Auckland who has hit the top of the world, go up against the German Prince Stefan Leko. The official introductions now for our first semi-final. Can Mark Hunt create history? He has virtually come out of nowhere in the past year and a half. The fastest rising K1 star in history. Can he knock out Stefan Leko now and proceed into an historic final? In semi-final number 2 across the other side of the draw, it will be the Red Scorpion from Russia, Alexey Ignashov, up against Brazil's own superstar, Francisco Filho. Mike Angove, Mark Hunt versus Stefan Leko. How do you see it?
Well, Stefan Leko has the skills to beat Mark Hunt on points, but Mark Hunt is a much bigger man and deceptively quick. Also, as Adam Watt mentioned earlier, he is very good at cutting off the ring. Stefan Leko has his work cut out if he's going to make the final tonight.
They will absolutely raise the roof of the Tokyo Dome when Mark Hunt makes his way to centre ring. He has been a sellout in the merchandise department. He has been signing tons of autographs all week. He has risen to incredible popularity and superstar status here in Japan and right across the world. Now is his time. It is his time in the limelight, his time in the spotlight, his time to take one more step towards K1 immortality. Mark Hunt in the first quarter-final, while in the second quarter-final in the first half of the draw, knocked out Jérôme Le Banner, the big bombing Frenchman with the most imposing knockout record in the history of K1. Mark Hunt knocked him out with a 15-punch combination. The lights, the music, the sound, it can only mean one thing: the smoke, and this place is alive once more!
And listen to the crowd go wild. They're standing on their feet as Mark Hunt comes down the podium stairs and makes his way to ringside.
They have gone bananas. They have gone crackers. It is pandemonium here in Tokyo for Mark Hunt. Can he knock the lights out of Stefan Leko? Can he plant the big kibosh on the German Prince and say goodnight, Irene, to Europe's dreams in the K1? Listen to the ovation, Mike Angove, for this man, the boy from South Auckland, now based in Liverpool in Sydney, Mark Hunt.
Mark Hunt, he's had a second chance. He's taken it with both hands, or his right hand more to the point, and now he faces off against Stefan Leko. Stefan Leko, he's a much lighter fighter, a faster fighter, but he has proven in the past to be one-dimensional.
Will we see Mark Hunt deliver the sleeping pill? He delivered not 1, not 2, but 15 sleeping pills, an overdose of sleeping pills to Jérôme Le Banner. He knocked out Le Banner, sent him packing back to Paris. Can he do the same and send Stefan Leko all the way back to Berlin?
Mark Hunt, if he gets a sniff and Leko's hurt anyway, he'll jump on and finish the fight.
Listen to the ovation. Listen to that applause for the New Zealand, Australia, Mark Hunt. Adam Watt, Mark Hunt going up against Stefan Leko. Leko, the man with 2 lives here tonight. How do you see it?
Well, I see Leko's main punch is his right hand, but believe me, I think Mark Hunt will be landing his right hand here. We've been doing a lot of sparring and he's been doing a lot of work leading with his right hand.
So a battle of the big right hand.
Well, you didn't see it against Le Banner because he was a southpaw. But this guy here, you watch it, Leko's going to walk into Hunt's right hand, for sure.
He is the pin-up boy of K1 worldwide. They call him the German Prince. They call him the Basher from Berlin. They call him Stefan Leko. Tonight, here's the man with 2 lives. He was defeated by decision by Ernesto Hoost in the first quarter-final, but due to Hoost breaking his left foot, Stefan Leko has a retrieval. He has a second life here tonight. And the king of flair and razzmatazz all the way from Europe is back for another shot in centre ring, Adam.
I saw Leko after the fight with Hoost and he was very disappointed. He said that knockdown that was scored against him wasn't a knockdown. He thought he should have won that fight. He thought the referee was against him, and he'll be more than willing to make up for that this fight.
Mike Angove, it is Europe versus the Oceania. It is Germany versus Australia. It is going to be a war.
Absolutely. Mark Hunt, his best opportunity to win this fight is to take the fight to Leko. It's the only way he knows how to fight. Leko's going to be backing off and backpedaling because he can't afford to let Mark Hunt get his feet set.
I should say it's Germany versus New Zealand come Australia. Australia has adopted Mark Hunt as their own, but let's not forget the boy from the Bronx down there in South Auckland. He has made it all the way to the top of the world. He is one step closer to pure immortality and one step closer to becoming the K-1 King.
Interesting earlier on, Mark Hunt really paid a lot of tribute to Ray Sefo as the pioneer for both New Zealand and Australasian kickboxing, and also Adam Watt alongside us, one of the pioneers, in fact the first Australian to fight in Japan.
Oh yeah, that's right, when he first fought Rob Carmen under the K-1 banner. And listen to this applause. They are raising the roof of the Tokyo Dome. There's Konishiki, the great sumo yokozuna from many years ago, sitting ringside along with Hoist Gracie, Ray Sefo, Adam Watt, and so many other martial arts, kickboxing, K1 celebrities, all ringside as part of the 70,000 plus crowd here tonight. Stefan Leko, the man with two lives. I tell you what, look at the look of determination on the face of the Iceman from Germany, the German Prince Leko.
I think Leko has got to be very, very careful. He'll be very amped and very disappointed after his last fight. If he goes in for a war, it's not fighting his game plan. He really needs to work from the outside. And if he goes in too psyched, looking to land the bombs, looking to make an impression on Mark Hunt, well, we've already seen with Ray Sefo and Jérôme Le Banner, that just doesn't happen.
Comments from Mike Ango, ringside with Adam Watt and myself, Michael Chavello. We are ready to rumble in the first round of action. The German Prince Stefan Leko against the two-time K1 Australia champion and the hardest hitter on the planet today, Mark Hunt. Inside thigh kick to open up proceedings here from Mark Hunt. Will Hunt be able to land the big kibosh like he did on Jérôme Le Banner? The big goodnight Irene? Or will Stefan Leko seize his second life here tonight and proceed through to the final? Here comes Hunt barnstorming to open it up. 20 seconds in, they all tie up. Referee separates both men. Adam Watt, how do you see it?
The best thing about Mark, he doesn't take injuries. I can't see this guy ever getting hurt with Mark, so I don't know how Stefan feels. I'm sure his leg is a little bit sore from Ernest landed some good shots on it. So I'm sure Mark will be out targeting that. You can actually see his legs all banged up already. And I'm sure Mark will be dropping those kicks in on that.
45 seconds down here in the first round. We are set for 3x3. It is the first semi-final of the K1 Grand Prix Final 2. The big right hand! The big right hand! The big buck joy from Mark Hunt! Leko went down! He planted him like a tree! One more knockdown and it's all over for the German Prince!
Let's watch Mark Hunt really jump on Leko. Leko is not showing he's as hurt as he is, but he went down like a sack of spuds there. His knees buckled from under him.
You better get the straight jacket out again. I might take my voice beyond the threshold of pain. Here comes Mark Hunt. Mark Hunt's going to steamroll his way to the final. Leko just smiles at him. Here's a man hurt. Here's a man stunned.
See the difference in Mark. He's a confident fighter now. He's walking forward and he's dictating the fight.
Mark Hunt is brutal. There is no other way to describe it. Again, the big kibosh off the right hand. The big boom shakalaka.
And we see Mark Hunt. The trick to Mark Hunt is his right hand is very, very short. He doesn't throw a big winding right hand. It's quite deceptively fast. And also we see that jab starting to come out. Leko's not as tall as the other fighters in the tournament, so Mark Hunt can actually start to gauge his distance with that jab.
Well, 2 minutes in and Mark Hunt throwing more bombs than the US Air Force here in Century. Stefan Leko, no answers so far. Hunt just sizing him up. He's got that right hand cocked and ready. Spinning back fist there by Leko. The crowd loved that one. Mark Hunt says, come on, bring it on, son. What have you got? Hunt moves forward again. Leko, ever so wary of the huge power in those left and right hands. The heat-seeking missiles of Mark Hunt. Turning back, kicking close there to the midsection from Leko, Mike.
It's great to see Mark Hunt back Leko up onto the ropes. Notice when he's backpedaling, his chin's coming up. He's not protecting himself against the right hand there. And Mark Hunt's actually picking his shots there. Oh, a nice left hook there.
Mark Hunt cannot be too confident here, Adam White. He has to be careful. Oh, here he comes again. The man on the demolition mission. Will he pull out the heavy artillery? Will he produce the sleeping pill for Stefan Leko?
Well, to me, it looks like a matter of time before Mark lands that punch and Stefan's out of there.
Will the ticking time bomb explode? Into the final 10 seconds now of the first round of action. Probing jab from Leko. Leko looks to be scared of the power of Mark Hunt, Mike.
Leko fighting the wrong game. He's actually moving short on the inside into Mark Hunt's right hand. If he's going to do that, he's going to get tracked down and nailed.
On our unofficial scorecard, it has to be a 10-8 round to Mark Hunt, Adam Watt.
100%. 10-8.
For Leko to win this fight, as we see the right hand coming through, and as I mentioned earlier, Leko dropping his hands, leaving his chin up, and if he's going to do that, he's going to get absolutely nailed, and he's got no place to go but the canvas.
And he did well to get up, Leko.
He did very well to get up.
That's a right hand by a 120-kilo boy. That's got to hurt.
Well, Mark Hunt couldn't get the second knockdown. One more knockdown, Adam, and it's all over?
No,
or was it two knockdowns
round.
in one round?
Yeah,
okay, two knockdowns in one round. But I tell you what, as Adam Watt mentioned earlier on, you feel that it's just agonisingly close to Mark Hunt putting the lights out on Stefan Leko, Mike Angove.
Certainly. I think if Mark can string a couple of punches together, he's really going to put Leko under pressure and he'll do well to survive.
We are underway in the second round of action. This one set for 3. Mark Hunt from New Zealand and Australia against Germany's own Stefan Leko. Leko, the winner of the K-1 Las Vegas earlier this year. Mark Hunt, the winner of the K-1 Oceania. He comes out all guns blazing. He's opened up like a house on fire.
And there you see the weight of the man pushing Leko down as if he were a lightweight.
Mark Hunt is just bullying Stefan Leko.
Mark Hunt has changed his game plan. We haven't seen the left hook feature much before, but he's used that twice to set up the right hand, and there we go again, and that's pushing Leko into his right hand as we see it there.
Almost landed the good night Irene, smack bang on the kisser of Stefan Leko. Leko very wary of Mark Hunt's power. Nice right hand off the jaw there from Leko. Sweat just flew off the brow of Mark Hunt. Drops the left hand down to the bread basket. And what a big bread basket it is. Outside left thigh kick there from Mark Hunt. Where's one on the nose? Inside thigh kick from Hunt. Doing well now. Raking up the points in the second round, Adam Watt. Big overhand right there. Came close but no cigar.
That's the punch that Mark's going to land sooner or later, I'm sure. I mean, if Leko's throwing that jab, Marks is going to time it down over the top.
Well, Stefan Leko taking more knocks than a front door so far in this fight. Hunt moves. Oh, there it goes! On the jaw! He's wobbled in. Stefan Leko on rubber leg street again. He almost sent him down. The ticking time bomb has exploded.
Mark's got to jump on Leko, not give him
the right hand! That was the right hand all the way from South Auckland. It is.
Knockdown. Stefan Leko cannot be protesting against that. He got
Leko has no ground for protest. You're right, Mike Angove. He got planted like a tree yet again. Mark Hunt on a demolition mission.
That's the right hand we're talking about. That's his payday.
It is the big kibosh from Mark Hunt. There it is again.
For Mark's future, it'd be good to see him going to the body here, just not relying on the one shot to do the damage.
Oh, a thumping right hand to the side of the head from Hunt.
Leko's trying to box with him, he should be kicking.
Leko's got a very good leg kick. He should be using it. He should be just working off the jab, setting up the leg kick. Mark's proved susceptible to that in the past. Leko's not fighting a very smart fight, I'm afraid.
One more knockdown here, and Mark Hunt's got it. We're 2 minutes 20 down here in the second round. A rapid-fire combination there from Stefan Leko, but he cannot drop Mark Hunt off that. Hunt just smiling at him and firing back. Here comes the big right hand again.
What Mark Hunt has shown is a tremendous propensity to take a shot and then come straight back with a big shot that would really hurt another man. And that's where Leko has got to be.
Oh, the big right hand again! And a big left hand from Mark Hunt. Leko holding on for dear life.
One more knockdown, and Leko's out of there. Mark Hunt wins.
We have another 13 seconds remaining in this round.
Mark's just sitting.
Big left hand again from Mark Hunt. Leko doesn't want to be there. Those punches are making wish he played lawn bowls instead.
Leko's holding on well. He's really just surviving in this fight. Certainly not doing enough to win.
Adam,
being very clever on the inside.
Another 10-8 round for Mark Hunt. He did get the knockdown.
Yep, definitely.
Mike Angove.
Leko has to get a knockout to win, and it doesn't look like there's much chance of that happening. Mark fights this last round fairly smart. He should conserve his energy, just do enough to coast through the round. If he sees the opportunity, plant it, but otherwise just conserve his energy. And there we see that knockdown. Legitimate right hand punch. Leko, he was kicking, but he legitimately got knocked down there. Punch to the temple, 8 count.
What an astounding moment in the history of sports. Mark Hunt could be on his way to an historic K-1 final. Adam, is there a danger of Mark Hunt becoming a little bit too confident here in the third round and maybe dropping his guard against Stefan Leko?
The only way I see Mark getting hurt is if Leko kicks him in the head. I mean, I can't see him hurting him to the body. I can't see him hurting him with punches. The only way I can see Leko hurting Mark is with a kick to the head. I can't see that happening.
from Adam Watt ringside with myself, Michael Chavello, and Lightning Mike Angove, the New Zealand 8-man cruiserweight champion.
And there you see the difference between the two fighters in terms of weight. When Mark Hunt kicks to Leko's legs, it shakes his body to the core.
One caution there for Mark Hunt. What was that for, Adam?
That was for the elbow.
Oh, big body shot and headshots again from Mark Hunt. He's bringing on the heavy artillery. A looping wild right hand there from Leko. Digs in with the uppercut. That would have knocked out a lesser man, but not Mark Hunt.
Look at Leko. We've got to give Leko credit for his durability. He's taken some big shots and done well to get up from them. They've put bigger men than them down.
Hunt moves forward again, maybe trying to throw the close-in knee or the outside thigh kick.
I'm very impressed with Mark Hunt's use of the left hand here. He's using his left hook well, and in fact doubling up on it a number of times.
Mark Hunt calling him forward, saying, come on, German, what do you got for me? It's not enough.
I don't think you'll fall for that. I think you watched Le Banner.
Inside thigh kick, outside thigh kick. Nice combination there from Mark Hunt. Snappy right hand there from Hunt. The crowd on the edge of their seats baying, willing a knockout win for Mark Hunt.
Certainly they're baying for blood. Leko being quite clever with sneaky little counter punches. Not enough to win the fight, just enough to keep him in the fight.
Mark Hunt looks to have slowed down a little bit in this round, Adam.
He does. I think if Mark just lands one or two strong low kicks, I'm sure Leko will be out of there. I mean, he's headhunting a little bit here in this round. But then again, he's safe. He's not hurting himself.
Nice short uppercut in close there from Mark Hunt. Leko tries an uppercut of his own, overhand right. Oh, blood just flying up the ground. Mark Hunt forced to back up now. Good retaliation there from Stefan Leko. Oh, nice snappy right hand through the guard there from Hunt.
This is where Mark's dangerous. After he's been hurt, he flies right back.
We are 1 minute 50 down, boys, here in the third round of action. Wherever you're watching this one right across the world, we hope you're enjoying it as much as we are. It is the story of a lifetime, a Cinderella story, a Rocky story that is Mark Hunt.
Once again, we see Mark Hunt's tremendous ability to absorb punches and come straight back without seemingly being affected.
Snappy hook, outside thigh kick there from Mark Hunt.
That's what we need to see from Mark.
Oh, the wild left uppercut trying to take the head off of Stefan Leko. He ducks under the way of the left hand. Nice evasion there from Hunt.
We've got to give Leko credit for coming back in this third round. He's taken some tremendous punches. He's still in there. He's still fighting. He's still working. He may not win this fight, but he's shown tremendous courage and guts.
Adam Watt, this one's become a boxing contest. I say that just as Mark Hunt throws an inside thigh kick.
Yeah, it's his first kickies for a while.
Nice uppercut in place there from Stefan Leko, trying to back Mark Hunt back into his own blue corner. Hunt comes out again. Beautiful leg kick there from Hunt.
He's trained well. He's trained well with Happy Mark.
Happy Nirinoa, of course, the trainer in the corner of Mark Hunt. Hunt lets fly for another wild left. We've got 10 seconds remaining. Into the final seconds now. Mark Hunt. Wild right uppercut just whistles past the brow. There it is! The end of the third and final round. Let's go first into Adam Watt.
Yeah, but I think Mark won that quite easily.
Let's go now, Mike Ango.
Certainly, I think we're going to see for the second year in a row a Kiwi, an Oceania representative, and a Samoan in the K-1 final.
Jérôme Le Banner taking a look on the TV screens out back, obviously impressed by Mark Hunt here tonight, folks. Any way you look at it, Mark Hunt has to go through to the final. 10-8 in the first round, 10-8 in the second round, and even if you give it a draw in the third or even Leko in the third, it still goes Mark Hunt's way.
Yeah, good luck to him. I remember a week ago he was arranging to meet me for sparring. He couldn't turn up. I mean, he had to turn up at 6 o'clock for sparring. He spent all night watching his car. He bought a brand new car from the winnings from the last fight. So he stood outside his house watching his car. But
It was a brand new Como, wasn't it?
Yeah, he thought someone was going to steal it. I mean, that's the dedication. He didn't sleep at all, then he still came for
Can
sparring.
you imagine trying to steal Mark Hunt's car? If he
Oh,
caught
bad-
up with you,
bad move.
oh, you'd be in a
Bad
world of
move.
hurt.
Bad move.
Actually, I'll tell you a little story. Way back in New Zealand, there was a young kid who stole David Tua's Mercedes-Benz. David popped into the dairy for a moment to buy some chewing gum or a newspaper. He popped out, saw this young kid in his Mercedes. The kid took one look at him, sped off at the rate of knots.
30対27、青マークハント。
One for Mark Hunt.
ジャッジ中川圭介、29対26、青マークハント。
Oh, there you have it! Ladies and gentlemen, the boy from South Auckland, the boy from Liverpool, has made it through to the final of the K-1 World Grand Prix.
Who would have guessed that he's come from absolutely nowhere? The final, all roads lead to Dome. And for Mark Hunt, he's now in the K-1 2001 final.
Adam Watt, this has to be one of the defining moments in world sport.
Oh, mate, he's a
Mark
legendary.
Hunt just cruises past our commentary position. He is in the final, folks. The final of the K-1 World Grand Prix. Adam Watt, thank you very much for joining us ringside. It's been an absolute
Thanks for having
pleasure.
us, guys.
Well
and,
done.
good luck to Mark in the final. Let's hope he does it.
Comments there from Adam Watt. He takes off the headphones. Look at the elated crowd. Look at the elation on the face of Mark Hunt. The boy from South Auckland has made it to the top of the world. He's one step closer, Mike Ango, to pure immortality.
Absolutely. Look at the Japanese fans. They're just loving Mark Hunt. An ordinary boy, a quiet-spoken man. He really, the fame hasn't gone to his head at all. And he's just looking to get the next fight. Treats every fight the same. Looking forward to the K1.
K-1 ワールドグランプリ金戦1準決勝第2試合を行います。
Well, all is in readiness now for the second semi-final. Who will face Mark Hunt in the final of the K-1 Grand Prix 2001? Will it be all the new bloods? If Russia's Alexey Ignashov makes it through, or will it be the Brazilian God-hand himself, Francisco Filho? What an epic semi-final we are set for, Mike Ango. The new blood, the Red Scorpion, the big red machine from Russia, Alexey Ignashov, the knees of iron against the God-hand Francisco Filho.
Certainly it's going to be a very interesting battle. Francisco, typically a counter fighter against a fighter who likes to come forward in Ignashov. Very interesting to see how a karate-based fighter deals with the Muay Thai knees coming up high.
Well, making his way to the ring dressed in the traditional gi of the Kyokushinkai, the traditional kanji covering his heart, the man they call the God-hand Francisco Filho, the man from Brazil says a silent prayer and makes his way to center ring. Speaking of great Brazilians, joining us ringside.
Awesome, man.
Place, of course, at the moment you're in Tokyo training with our very own Ray Sefo, who will be fighting in a no-rules fight against Gary Goodridge in a short amount of time. How's Ray shaping up? What sort of work are you doing with Ray Sefo?
It's secret right now.
Secret work?
I can't tell you right now.
Jeez, I can't wait to see Ray Sefo trying to apply a bit of a chokehold or a leg lock or an armbar. I tell you what, that'll be something completely different.
Ray Sefo taking on Gary Goodridge first up. It's a pretty big ask. He's an experienced man in the ring, isn't he, Wes?
Both of them. Both of them. It'll be a good fight.
I tell you what, speaking of experience, how about Francisco Filho, the superstar from Brazil? We called him the Ronaldo of kickboxing and martial arts. He gets into center in the traditional Kyokushin salute, and he is ready for action against the Red Scorpion, the big red machine, Alexey Ignashov. Mike, how do you think you will handle the knees of Ignashov here tonight?
I really do not know. I have never seen Filho working with a proficient knee fighter. My suspicion is that Filho will drop his hands low to try and protect himself from the knee on the inside. He's a very good leg kicker though, so Ignashov better be careful if he's going to throw kicks up high. My money is actually on the new blood.
Well, there you go. We could have an all-new blood final if Mark Hunt meets Alexey Ignashov. It'll be unheard of and unprecedented. Don't forget the injury to the lead knee, the left knee of Francisco Filho.
And Ignashov being a Thai stylist, if he has heard what has pretty much been an open secret around Tokyo this week, he will target that front leg. But Francisco Filho, he has promised us this year, one more try, one last chance. I want to be the K1 champion. So this is his opportunity.
Well, we pan in the lights, the smoke, the dancing girls as the big red Russian makes his way to center ring. The Moscow Express, the Crushing Russian, the Red Scorpion, call him whatever you like, the Ivan Drago of K1. He is 6'6", 120 kilo of muscle. He has the knees of iron. He is Alexey Ignashov. You talk about daunting prospects. You talk about huge fighters, Mike. They can just pull a knee out of nowhere, a knee out of Backerberg, and this is the man, Alexey Ignashov. Isn't he confident?
Absolutely. He's a man who seems unruffled by anything. In fact, he soaks up the atmosphere, seems to make him a lot stronger. Look at the guy. One thing I love about this man is he has that sense of arrogance, that sense of I can take on anyone, doesn't matter, just put him in front of me. And that's a sign of a fighter who can be very, very dangerous.
Michael Chavello ringside with Mike Angover, our special guest, UFC champion Royce Gracie, as the giant Russian makes his way to centering. I feel like I'm in a scene out of a Rocky movie, out of Rocky 4. It's the new blood, the Ivan Drago of K1 up against the Rocky-like Francisco Filho, Mike.
Certainly, this promises to be a tremendous and intriguing battle with two very, very different sizes. One thing that Ignashov will not be able to do, the Scorpion won't be able to use his height as he did with Nicholas Pettas, who's only 5'10". Filho is a big man at 106 kilos and 6'2", so the knees won't play as big a part as they did with Pettas.
The official introductions in Japanese. Francisco Filho wearing the trunks, the traditional Brazilian flag colours of gold and green. There are two big superstars to have emerged in the fight game from Brazil. They are Royce Gracie and Francisco Filho. Francisco Filho, is he a big name back in Brazil, Royce?
Oh, yes.
Yeah?
He's pretty big.
He is certainly a huge name here in Japan.
Alexey Ignashov!
Royce, of course, in your UFC career, you were renowned as a smaller fighter, having taken on a lot of huge opponents and defeated them. I know you don't do kickboxing or K1, but what would be going through Francisco's head having to fight a much larger opponent in Alexey Ignashov?
Actually, I like Francisco's style. I was watching earlier. He's very patient. He seems to be very patient.
Very calculating fighter, very methodical.
Choose his shots.
Well, we will see if Francisco Filho can launch the God hand, that big right hand that has been trained up by Mauricio Glaub-Feitosa and also Five Filamoy in his corner, Mike Angover. Here we go in the first round.
Certainly benefiting from a bit of that Samoan boxing experience. One thing is, earlier on this year, Ignashov fought Max Skilton, who was a much heavier guy and was pushed around. And that seems to be a way to get to Ignashov, is to get him, put him off his center, put him off his balance, adjust his center of gravity and push him back. But standing off, he seems to be a much more proficient fighter.
You could see the Mawashi Geri, the high lead leg roundhouse kick to the head, and Alexey Ignashov just smiled at Francisco, trying to launch that high good night Irene knee to the jaw there. Outside thigh kick to the lead thigh there from Filho.
And we see there much better distance here from Francisco than Nicholas Pettas. He has a much better idea of range, and it's just able to stay out of range of those knees there.
Oh, beautiful gut munching front kick there from Alexey Ignashov. Pure power behind that one.
And there you see the advantage of being such a tall fighter.
He is really just a giant red scorpion, a giant red spider, and another gut munching front kick and a probing long jab. How long are those limbs on the big Russian?
Absolutely, he's got extraordinarily long legs, and you see him once again favouring the knees.
Leaping into the midsection there by Ignashov. Referee Nobuaki Kakuta separates both men. And as Royce Gracie said earlier on, you can see Francisco Filho, a very thinking fighter, very methodical, just working out the strengths and the weaknesses of the big Russian.
Certainly a very intelligent fighter. Francisco, really, if he needs to win this fight, needs to start to work his hands just to not allow Ignashov to get any rhythm going. And we see there Ignashov really basing everything around setting up a knee.
One of these two men will face Mark Hunt in the final. Will it be the big Russian or the Brazilian? Never before has there been a K1 champion outside of Europe, folks. The 4 K1 champions over the last 8 years have all been Europeans, whether it be Branko Sikatic of Croatia, Andy Hug of Switzerland, or the Dutchman Peter Aerts and Ernesto Hoost. We have never seen a K1 champion outside of Europe. Could Francisco Filho do it for the South Americans, or maybe Mark Hunt for the New Zealanders, the Aussies, and the whole of Oceania?
Certainly, this is the dawning of new blood this year. Notice earlier, you see Francisco Filho, when he comes back off the ropes, he'll always throw that little right hand of his, and it's not so little, it's knocked out a lot of opponents over the years. Has deceptive power.
Oh, nice rib kick there, just tucking it underneath the left arm of Francisco Filho, the rib cracker. Outside thigh kick there from Filho.
Ignashov just not being quite as dominant as he was against Pettas. He's a bit more hesitant, he knows of the power of Filho, so he's picking his shots very well.
Thigh kick there again from Filho, the traditional Kyokushin weapon. Those are the thigh kicks they use to break baseball bats with. Straight right hand there from Ignashov, the big Russian.
Ignashov doesn't look to have a lot of power in his right hand. He looks to be more of a fighter who uses it to set up his kicks and set up his knees. Uses it as a range finder.
Alexey Ignashov controlling the center of the ring. There's the end of the first round. Royce Gracie, how did you see that first round?
Both of them are very mathematical. Both of them study each other's game.
A real feeling out process, too,
Yes.
isn't it? Can you see maybe the Russian getting the upper hand? He's trying to get in close and work those big knees of his.
It's tough for me to say that, man. It's I'd say the Russian definitely got the lead over there on the range.
Those long limbs just probing through the guard of Francisco. There's the right hand, Mike.
As I said, catching him on the end of the punch, he's really not driving his whole body behind that punch. He's using those to set up his knees, which he bases a lot of his game plan around. Very relaxed fighter, very impressive for a guy who's really only been out of the amateurs for 18 months.
Yes.
He was a dual world champion, 1999 and 2000 world amateur champs in Thailand. So this really is a tremendous step up for the young man.
Alexey Ignashov choosing to stand sit between rounds. Filho choosing to stand in his corner. We're about to rumble in the second round now. The referee Kapita gets us underway. And Ignashov, interestingly enough, does a traditional Thai blessing of himself in his corner before he makes it out for each round. Inside thigh kick there from Francisco Filho.
Very Thai orientated, the Russians. They brought the Thais over early. When they first started kickboxing, they found that they were very, very proficient with boxing, but they were getting absolutely devastated by the knees and the kicks, so they brought Thai fighters over and have adopted a very Thai style.
You can hear the smacking off the rib cage there as the big Russian wound up the kick to the rib cage.
Certainly, but
overhand right by Filho, and another one. Caught him on top of the cranium. He's going for the cranium cracker, the headache maker.
And notice Ignashov, he's not throwing out his jab like he was earlier in the round. He may be making faces at Filho, but that's certainly got his attention.
Big outside thigh kick there by the Russian Alexey Ignashov.
It's good tactics from Ignashov, throwing the right hand there.
Cool snappy left hand in close by Ignashov. Filho ties him up. No chance to work the knees there for Ignashov. So confident, such a young and confident big fighter is the man from Russia. Beautiful front kick. He's really the type of fighter that you can see dominating the K-1 for years to come, Mike.
If he learns a little bit more, if he works on his angles a little bit more, works on his circular techniques, certainly this man could be, he's already been touted as the next Peter Aerts, the next man to dominate the K-1. Filho, however, fighting a very smart fight, not allowing him to loosen his knees on the inside, and using his weight to offset that height advantage that Ignashov has.
It is, as Hoist Gracie said earlier on, a very methodical fight. Nice uppercut in close there by Francisco. Then comes over
there we see.
Here comes the guide hand trying to unlaunch the big goodnight Irene.
You look closely.
Ignashov just smiles at him.
Look closely in that exchange. Filho was using his left hand, using the uppercut, using the left hook. We haven't seen that from him in the past, but then we see some of the training of Fai Falamoe, the Commonwealth boxing competitor, third-ranked amateur in the world, really starting to pay dividends for Francisco.
Nice high leg check there from Francisco. This has been a better round for the Brazilian. He has been chipping away at that lead thigh of the big Russian. There it is again, the outside thigh kick. Nice overhand right kick.
He was the boxer by that right hand. They caught him on the way in. Ignashov not really showing the signs of it. He was able to take his head off.
Ignashov now breathing heavily. He's not smiling so much anymore. Snappy jab there from Francisco. You can see that Ignashov very limber on the lead leg, whereas a lot more flat-footed is Francisco on the lead leg. Nice leg check there by the Red Scorpion.
Francisco's very proficient in using his angles and subtle little movements to take away the power.
Overhand right there by Francisco. Ignashov just ties him up, works the knee to the spine. A better round this one so far, Hoist, by Francisco. Much better round.
Yes.
He's
definitely
really
dominating this round.
Yes, very systematic, and I'd give that round probably to Francisco Hoist.
I'll give it to Francisco this round.
Mike Ango, how did you see it?
I'd call this an even round. I think Ignashov may have shaded the first round, but Japanese judges do tend to be conservative unless there's something definitive landed. So unless we get a clear winner in the third round, we could well have our first extension.
Actually, I think you're trying to pick a fight with me now. What's up with that?
Hey man, leave me alone.
Just choke him out for me, Hoist. Do me a favour. Overhand right there, you saw the flurry, the combination there from Francisco Filho, and Ignashov was in all sorts of bother in the corner. And what did he do? Like a pure Muay Thai stylist, just moved in and tried to tie him up.
And we see there the little short inside uppercut over the top of the right hand. And the left hook from Francisco, something we haven't seen a lot of before in the past.
That's what Francisco needs, a little more sequence like this.
Comments from the all-time greatest UFC fighter, Royce Gracie, ringside with myself, Michael Chavello, and the New Zealand 8-man cruiserweight champion, Lightning Mike Angove, also amateur world champion in his own right. I always give you a good wrap-up, Mike.
Thanks for that, mate.
Now kick to the ribs there from the big Russian Alexey Ignashov.
And we see Ignashov knows it's close, so he's come out throwing a few bombs in this round, looking to try and really dominate in this round to make it definitive on the judges' cards. He knows it's very close and he doesn't want to go that extra extension round.
Ooh, the wild overhand right just whistled past the brow of Ignashov. Nice leg check there from Ignashov.
Very technical fight, this one. Very good display of technique from both fighters.
Side kick, oh, beautiful inside thigh kick there from Ignashov, working off the side kick from Filho. Just not enough mustard behind it to do any real damage.
Just catching Francisco's right leg while it was in the air. Francisco off balance, but once again that Thai style takes advantage of any slip-up or opportunity.
One of these men will face New Zealand and Australia's own Mark Hunt in the final. Will it be Ignashov or Filho? Filho has been tenderising the lead thigh, taking the starch out of the big Russian. Tries to line up the overhand right again. Ignashov not as sprightly as he was in the first two rounds, that's for sure. Beautiful rear leg round kick to the rib cage. Filho goes downstairs, attacking the lead thigh. And look at the Russian, he says, bring it on, bring it all the way. Oh, looking around here trying to find the head of Filho. Oh, now we've got a slugfest. Now we've got a battle royale.
This is fantastic. It's turning into a kicking duel. Karate versus Muay Thai. And we're seeing all the techniques coming out now. Both fighters.
Ignashov moves in again, the big, stalking, brooding fighter. Filho's been playing a clever tactical game.
Ignashov's just starting to show a bit of damage there. He's limping slightly on that leg.
Ignashov taunting him, playing games in centre ring.
He can play as many games as he's like, but he's not scoring in points.
Oh, he's doing a little bit of the Muhammad Ali shuffle in centre ring. Kakuta doesn't like it. No time for karaoke and dancing in centre ring as far as Kakuta's concerned. A little bit of the Ali shuffle from the Russian.
And don't the Japanese crowd just soak it up. They absolutely love this sense of showmanship from these fighters. Really sets them apart.
Outside thigh kick there by the Brazilian Francisco Filho. Gut munching front kick off the rear leg there from Ignashov. Filho moves in again, attacking the legs. That has been the game plan all fight so far. Ignashov, the Ivan Drago of K-1, just smiles at him. Another bit of fancy footwork. Launches the rear leg round kick.
Notice with both these fighters, they're now checking a lot, which means they are sustaining damage to their shins and to their legs for the next round. And believe me, when you go away for 20 minutes and you come back, your legs are swollen up, they're that much stiffer, and it's that much harder to move around the ring.
Oh, just tied up in centre ring now. Ignashov can't work his knees. Kakuta separates both men. We're into the final seconds now of this round, Royce.
Starting to feel that leg over there.
I'm starting to see the bruising on Ignishov's thighs.
Well, there it is, the end of the third round. Would that be another drawn round, do you think, Royce?
And I don't know, but they're having a lot of fun in there.
They're having a heap of fun in there.
They're not just fighting, but they're having fun.
Mike Angove, how did you see that one? How did you score it on your unofficial scorecard?
On my scorecard, it wouldn't surprise me to see it go to the extension. However, the Japanese have shown in the past that on occasion they will favour the established fighter, and you really have to dominate an established fighter to get a win in Japan. So, and Ignashov hasn't really done that, so we could see Filho just sneaking through.
I would say Filho should have took him down.
Should have taken him down with the kicks.
Down to the ground, choke him out, catch him in the arm lock.
Put him in one of those triangular locks that you like so much, eh?
Yes. No, I'll give it to Francisco.
Francisco?
I'll give it to Francisco.
Either way, it's going to be a close one. Unofficially, Royce Gracie gives it away. The Brazilian Francisco.
I'm
maybe
biased.
A draw. No, you think so?
I'm Brazilian, man.
ジャッジ東正美30対29青フランシスコ・フィリオジャッジ伊沢雅子30対29青フランシスコ・フィリオ
Oh, there you have it.
I'm getting good at this. I'm getting good at this.
The Brazilian is through to the final of K-1 Grand Prix 2001. It will be Mark Hunt versus Francisco Filho. Royce Gracie, how about that?
I'm getting good at this.
What a huge
I should
moment.
be a judge.
You should be. What a huge moment for Brazil, though.
Oh, yeah.
Enormous moment. Francisco Filho through.
Certainly history's been made tonight. New blood in the K1 final for the first time in absolute years. Royce Gracie just congratulating Francisco Filho. And this is a man, don't forget, who's carrying an injury. He's really shown a lot of courage even to turn up and fight here tonight. There's rumours going around that he may well have had a pain-filling injection in his leg.
Wow.
And he's through to the final.
There you have it, folks. It will be Francisco Filho against New Zealand and Australia's own Mark Hunt in the battle to be the King of Kings of K1 for 2001. Royce Gracie, thank you very much for joining us, and good luck training Ray Stefan for his first mixed martial arts fight.
That'll be good. That'll be good. That'll be a good. That's good that the guys from K1 are changing.
It's fantastic.
And trying out.
It really is. Thank you very much, Royce.
Thank you.
Comment there from the greatest ever, no rules, and UFC champion of the Octagon, Mr. Royce Gracie, ringside, and jubilation for Francisco Filho. He says a silent prayer. He's got one more fight to go in the battle for the King of Kings, K1 2001.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight, here at Tokyo Dome, we started the evening with 8 of the greatest superstar fighters from around the world. And now, only 2 remain. And they must face each other in this ring for the final match for the Arusa K-1 World Grand Prix Championship 2001. So for the thousands in attendance here at Tokyo Dome and the millions watching around the world on television, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
Well, it doesn't get any better than that. Michael Buffer, the world's leading ring announcer. And we're about to see the entrance of the 2 remaining K1 World Grand Prix fighters. New Zealand and Australia's own Mark Hunt and Brazil's Francisco Filho. One of these 2 men is now one step closer to immortality.
And look at the panoramic shot of this incredible indoor stadium. And the crowd goes wild as we await these 2 tremendous fighters.
They have been going bananas. Oh, look at this! Mark Hunt being lifted by a crane. And look at the audience go bananas for the South Auckland slugger. Mark Hunt!
It have to be a...
My word, I'm lost for words, Mike. Unbelievable. Francisco Filho and Mark Hunt being engineered in on giant cranes, waving to the audience. What an overwhelming and sensational feeling. It is unseen, unheard of in the world of martial arts and ring sports. Mark Hunt and Francisco Filho being carted into center ring.
Where in the history of sports and entertainment have you ever seen such an event, such an entertainment spectacle as here in Tokyo tonight?
Never before, Mike Ango. Never, ever before has it been done. Both men being flown into center ring as only the K1 can, as only 2 champions can. Mark Hunt, look at him. He is indeed on top of the world. Francisco Filho, he is also on top of the world. This is what it's all about. 2 champions, 2 immortals, and there can only be 1 winner.
Absolutely above the world. Have to be a steel reinforced crane to hold that huge man, 125 kilos that is Mark Hunt tonight, as we bring him close to ringside, and he is just loving it.
Mike Ango, I'm going to stand up for this one. Have a look at these 2 guys floating into center ring. It is unbelievable. Mark Hunt pointing, waving. I have never seen anything like this in my life. Streamers shoot across this capacity audience. We have flames, streamers, pyrotechnics, the works.
Absolutely incredible.
Have you ever seen anything like this in a fight? It is truly unbelievable. Francisco Filho from one corner, Mark Hunt from the other corner. It's New Zealand and Australia versus Brazil, and there's only going to be 1 champion. Francisco Filho is lowered to the ground. What an entrance. K1 history in the making.
As Filho comes into the strains of his traditional music from Puff Daddy, he's always walked into this music, he says it relaxed. relaxes him, and look at him, isn't he a picture of calm?
Francisco Filho, they have said it might be his last year in the K1. Can he go out a winner? Can he join Peter Aerts, Ernesto Hoost, Branko Sigatic, and the great Andy Huck as a K1 world champion?
Who will be the first non-European K1 champion? The super heavyweight champion of the world, effectively the premier super heavyweight in the world for the first time tonight, will not come from Europe.
A huge achievement also in the corner for Five Full of Mind, one of New Zealand's premier boxers. He is in the corner working the hands of Francisco Filho.
And what a difference it has made to his performance, both in Fukuoka and here tonight. That extra versatility, the extra weapons in his arsenal have really taken him all the way to the K1 final.
Filho arrives at the ring. He walks up the stairs, the stairway to heaven, steps through the ropes, and we are underway almost in the K1 Grand Prix final. What a rousing ovation. This place is alive. It's happening here at the Tokyo Dome.
And now making his entrance to the ring from the red stage, Mark.
Oh, listen to that ovation. Listen to them raise the roof. Who's the favourite here tonight? It's the Southpaw Slugger, the Liverpool legend himself, Mark Mike Ango.
And listen to the crowd go wild. They've really taken this man to heart. As Mark Hunt comes out to the screens of Polynesian music.
We're getting up, Mike Angos. If you're watching it at home, get out of your seats. Get up and start dancing around because Mark Hunt's made it to the final. Unbelievable. He is living the dream and it couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
Mark Hunt as they lower him to ringside. He's going to make his way in to the final of the K1 this evening. What an achievement from this man. He comes from absolutely nowhere 3 years ago, and here he is fighting for $1 million in Tokyo here tonight.
He is a role model. He is an inspiration. Mike Ango, you better get the straight jacket ready, get the oxygen ready. Actually put me in a hospital bed right now, because I'm going to lose a plot. I'm going to take my voice beyond the threshold of pain, because never in the history of K1 have we ever seen anything like this, as Mark Hunt makes his way to centre ring.
Mark Hunt pumping up. He's going to knock him out tonight. He's dominated all those that have gone before him this year. Only Francisco Filho stands in his way.
He knocked out Jérôme Le Banner with a 15-punch combination. He knocked down Stefan Leko twice. Now, will he be able to do it against Francisco Filho? This is the moment of truth, a defining moment when mortals become immortals, when athletes become superstars, when superstars become megastars. And that's what Mark Hunt could become here tonight, a virtual megastar.
The teenager from South Auckland has made it all the way. And look at him, soak up the atmosphere.
It is a defining moment, not only in New Zealand and Australian sports history, but in world sport. Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, the moment we've all been waiting for, the final match of the evening. This will be for the Arusa K1 World Grand Prix Championship 2001. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the green trimmed with gold and weighing 109 kilograms. His K1 record includes 2000 Yokohama Championship, third place K1 World Tournament, the 2001 K1 World Grand Prix Fukuoka Championship. Ladies and gentlemen from Brazil, here is Ichigeki Francisco
A rousing applause for Francisco Filho, but wait till you hear the applause that Mark Hunt's going to receive in just a moment.
Fighting out of the red corner. His weight, 122.5 kilograms. His K1 titles include Oceania Tournament Champion 2001, third place in Melbourne 2001, and K1 World Grand Prix Fukuoka 2001 champion. Ladies and gentlemen, from New Zealand, presenting Motion, Mark the Doctor
And listen to the crowd, they've really taken him to heart here in Tokyo.
What an ovation!
Come from nowhere.
What an electrifying ovation for Mark Hunt. Both men now in the centre of the ring. The stare down. I love it. It will be three-minute rounds under K1 rules. Francisco Filho of Brazil, Harpe Naranoa from the Liverpool gym in Sydney, and his charge, Mark Hunt.
This is the moment when it all counts. 9 minutes is all it could take for Mark Hunt to be that close to $1 million. All those hours of training, getting up early in the morning, training late at night, all about to pay off for Mark Hunt.
It is an honour and a pleasure. Michael Chavello ringside with Mike Angove, and the time for talk is over. Snappy jab there from Mark Hunt. Will he plant the big kibosh on Francisco Filho? Will he plant the good night Irene, the sleeping pill of the right hand?
And already we see Filho very aware of that right hand, holding that high guard.
Mark Hunt sizing him up. Outside thigh kick by Filho has to be his strongest weapon here tonight. He wants to tenderize the lead thigh of Hunt. Hunt's got to be careful of the high Mawashigeri, the high roundhouse kick from the Brazilian Kyokushinkai exponent. Dropping down the right hand to the breadbasket there was Filho.
Filho looking very sharp with his hands.
Inside thigh kick by Filho. Hunt just sizing him up, yet to explode, the ticking time bomb. Nice body shot there from Hunt.
Mark very, very patient there. Notice he's been very adept at cutting off the ring. He's dominating centre ring, not allowing Filho.
Hunt just bullying Francisco Filho back into the blue corner. We are 1 minute down here in the first round of the K1 final. Dropping body shot there from Filho.
Look for Filho to drop that body shot, perhaps loop a high head kick over the top. What he's trying to do there is drop Mark Hunt's right hand and expose him to his lethal head kicks, which we all know Filho possesses.
Oh, a high head kick there from Mark Hunt off the lead leg.
Technique not often seen from Mark Hunt, but he's shown he has the agility to get it up there.
From the backstreet fights in South Auckland to fighting at the top of the world, Mark Hunt is a Cinderella story. The dream come true. Can he take it one step further? A real feeling out process here in the first round. Turning back kick there from Francisco Filho, and a turning back kick. If you can do anything, I can do it better, says Mark Hunt.
And the crowd just absolutely loving that.
Oh, big body shot there from Hunt. Looking for the big kibosh, the big boom, shakalaka.
What Mark Hunt is showing is he's shown an ability to adapt. And there goes the head kick, which I said to watch out for earlier from Filho, who can get them up from close range. Mark Hunt adapting, going down to the body of Filho because he realizes he has a tight guard. He can't just throw the single shots at the head.
Ladies and gentlemen, there is no Ernesto Hoost. There is no Peter Aerts. There is no Stefan Leko and no Jérôme Le Banner. There is only Mark Hunt and Francisco Filho left. We are now 2.5 minutes down here in the first round of action. Hunt trying to move in, trying to land the big right hand.
Notice Filho, he's not happy to stay there on the ropes. He's moving, very clever of him, not allowing Mark to get his feet set and set those sleeping pills in motion.
Hunt moves forward again, drops the body shot, then a round kick off the right. Into the final 10 seconds now of the first round. A trade of leg kicks in the center of the ring. Inside thigh kick there from Filho. And there it is into the first round of action, Mike Angove. How do you see it?
Tell you what, Mark Hunt put on a very, very good show in that round. It'll probably be a drawn round. However, Mark Hunt showed some fantastic signs, picking his shots well, going to the body, particularly with his left hand and doubling up on that. And for the first time, we've seen Mark Hunt kicking high.
Well, an extraordinary kick of was Mark Hunt actually going to the head with a lead leg round kick of all things, not even chambering the rear leg, but a lead leg round kick. We have a look at the action from that round as it went down. Mark Hunt dropping the big right hand down to the breadbasket, followed by a short range knee. Certainly, though, Filho might have scored some more points with the leg kicks. Hunt did work in a couple of knees. So I'm in agreement with Mike Angove on this one. Unofficially, a drawn 10-all first round. We're about to get underway in round number 2. This one's set for 3. It is the final.
And as you look at Filho, just starting to show the wear of 3 fights on his face. Just a little mouse forming over his left eye, right eye rather.
It's not a little mouse, it's a rat. It's a rodent. Mark Hunt wants to open it right up. Here he comes again with the heavy artillery. He's opened up like a house on fire.
Mark Hunt looking to be the exterminator here tonight.
Oh, the high left round kick off the lead leg there from Filho, not wobbling the cranium of Mark Hunt. Hunt just parries away the front kick, inside thigh kick from Filho. Hunt's got to start checking those ones. Hunt waiting for his moment to move in.
Hunt really has got to be careful not to stand in front of Filho and give him time to wind up those kicks. Really needs to keep a little busy, keep him off balance, not allow him to use the weapons which are his strength. And there we see the high head kick going over the top.
Oh, Hunt responding with a high right round kick of his own. Nowhere near the technical efficiency of Francisco Filho. Filho drops the right hand down the breadbasket. Hunt's got to start to turn it on now. We're now 1 minute down in the second round. Hunt digging away to the midsection.
Mark Hunt looks like he's just starting to tire a little. He's picking his shots very well, but perhaps he needs to pick it up a pace.
High left round kick there by Filho, then tags him with the right hand. Been a solid round for Filho so far.
As we said, a different fight from the other fighters. These fighters aren't coming on to Mark Hunt, so he's not getting the chance to exchange and get into a rhythm.
Oh, big right hand there by Mark Hunt. That'll take the starch right out of Francisco Filho. Inside thigh kick there from Filho.
Just glancing off the guard there with that right hand. Filho very composed, however, doing what he has to do to just edge out each round.
Hunt's got him backed against the ropes. Big body shot again there from Mark Hunt, going smack bang on the sternum. Hunt trying to line him up for that right hand. It hasn't come for him the opportunity thus far. 1 minute 50 down here in the second round.
Be good to see Mark Hunt going to the body and then coming up top with the left hook to follow up that straight right to the body.
Inside thigh kick there from Hunt. Snappy jab from Hunt. 2 minutes 10 down now. Inside thigh kick from Filho. Couple of jabs there from Hunt. Works the knee in close. Filho fires off. Retaliates with a short right hand.
And there we see the power of Francisco Filho. He's shown the ability just to hold back off Mark Hunt a little bit. Mark respects the power of the man. What Mark needs to do is start to string together a few more punches, a few more combinations, just not to allow Filho the opportunity to counter.
Big body shot there from Mark Hunt. Filho ties him up, neither man working the knees. Referee separates both men into the final 20 seconds now of the second round of action. It has been a solid one for Filho, that's for sure.
Not quite the excitement of the previous rounds, but very much
so much on the line, so much at stake. Neither man wants to make a mistake. Glancing right hand there from the Brazilian. Inside thigh kick from the Brazilian and another. Hunt moves in. Short range kick to the outside thigh. End of the second round. Mike, I've got to give that one slightly to Francisco Filho.
Although he didn't score a lot of clean techniques, I think Francisco started to get Mark's measure there, started to get the rhythm, dominated the round, and just scored a little more to the legs. However, the Japanese judges, as I've mentioned before tonight, they do tend to be a little conservative unless something really definitive happens. So that could well be a drawn round. We could be on our way to our first extension.
Well, Mark Hunt with Harpe Nuranoa in the corner. Hunt just missed with the left hand, came through the right, double forearm guard, protected Francisco Filho on that occasion. Dropping the right hand down to the breadbasket there was Hunt. The slingshot effect just propelling Filho off the ropes.
What Mark needs to do when he goes down to the body is actually follow up high. 2 shots to the body and 1 shot to the head. Start to open up that ironclad guard for Francisco Filho.
Will touch gloves. It is the third and final round of action. Unofficially, maybe a draw in the first round and maybe a 10-9 to Filho in the second. And listen to the crowd rally behind both men. They are baying. They are willing for a knockout. Hunt goes to the body. Can Hunt pull it out? He's got to pull out all the stops and start to lay on the heavy artillery. High left round kick with the lead leg there from Filho. Hunt just shrugs it off.
Mark really needs to start to dominate this round.
Oh, turning back kick there from Mark Hunt. Threw everything he had behind him, just smiles at Filho.
Although it's crowd pleasing, Mark's really got to do what he does well, and that's throw punches, and a lot of them.
Snappy jab there from Filho. Hunt goes to the body, then to the head. That's more like it. Sweat just flying off the brow of Francisco Filho. Hunt's feeling those inside and outside thigh kicks. Higher left round kick to the head there by Filho. Hunt just shrugs it off, says, no, you can't get me with that.
Filho still fighting a very smart fight.
Thigh kick from Hunt. Hunt's got a bit of a growl on his face now. Hunt's starting to feel those leg kicks though. His lead leg is being tenderized. Body shot there from Francisco.
The crowd's starting to bay. The crowd wants to see action. They want to see punches. Filho cleverly spinning out once again.
Hunt moves forward once more. Overhand right by Filho, just whistled past the brow. Rib kick there by Filho. Hunt moves in. He's got him against the ropes. Couldn't get it off. Filho takes a bit of a breath.
What Marks needs to do when he lands those combinations, cut down low to the legs, see if he can have an effect on the injured leg of Filho.
Oh, Hunt going across the ring there, trying to land the big goodnight Irene, but it came close. Filho all guarded up. 1 minute 40 down here in the third and final round. Hunt the body shot, then tried for the left hook.
Failing to capitalise by going low with the legs there.
Big body shot to the rib cage there from Mark Hunt. Filho ties him up for dear life. Maybe a caution for holding.
It's a caution for holding. A little unfortunate for Filho because it's the correct game plan. It's working for him.
1 minute remaining. 1 minute closer to a new K1 champion. Hunt flying across the ring now. He wants to slug it out with Filho, but Filho being very evasive in his footwork. He's a hard one to catch. A real cat and mouse game. High right round kick at the rear leg there from Filho, then launches one off the lead leg. They'll be raking up the judges' scorecards.
Neither of them taking effect though, both caught on the gloves by Mark Hunt. As Filho still moves around, still makes Mark come to him.
They are two very tired fighters here in centre end. Big body shot there from Hunt, then goes to the outside left thigh.
And there is what we want to see from Mark Hunt, following up those combinations with kicks.
We're into the final 15 seconds. Mark Hunt has to pull it out right now. Mark Hunt's got to try and land the big goodnight Irene into the final 10 seconds. The crowd are rallying them on. Here comes Hunt. Can Hunt land it? Can he pull it out? He is swinging wildly. He is swinging wildly, Mark Hunt. Can he get it? Referee steps in and breaks up both men. That's the end of 3 rounds of action. Mike Ango, if we go to the judges' scorecard.
I would have to say, this fight is too close to call. Neither fighter really coming out and dominating, although Filho certainly dominated in terms of range. He didn't land enough scoring techniques to make it definitive.
We are calling it maybe for a 1-round extension.
In which case it'll go to the fighter who most wants to win, perhaps the fighter who's least tired. As you see Mark Hunt landing those knees to the body.
What a battle. A brawler against a technician. Mark Hunt against Francisco Filho. Hunt tried to land the big right hand but couldn't catch him. Filho was evasive.
And there we see that ironclad guard of Francisco Filho, nothing getting through.
He has improved his defence so much, Francisco Filho, since his early days. The boxing record 5 for Moy really paying off. And now he'll wait for the historic decision.
30ドロージャッジ伊沢正太郎30対30ドロー
Oh, a draw! We're gonna go one more round!
It wasn't 9 minutes, it's gonna be 12!
We're gonna go one more round! The crowd have gone bananas!
What the judges are saying, they're saying to these guys, hey, you haven't done enough to win this fight, let's see some action out there.
Heated words from Harpo Narinoa. To be some disappointment in the corner of Filho. They thought they had it, now they've got to go 3 more minutes out of their life. Who will be crowned the K1 King of Kings? Extra round, here we go. We've never seen a more exciting K1 event than here tonight. The crowd are going bananas.
Let's look to see these fighters come to life and really start to put some techniques together. That's what the judges are saying. They're saying we're looking for something definitive. We're looking for the big shots. We're looking for the action we saw earlier. Up until this point, this fight has been too technical and they haven't seen that.
Thigh kick from Hunt, thigh kick from Filho. High left round kick there from Filho on the side of the head. Nice 1-2 from Filho. Oh, big body shot from Hunt from the outside, thigh kick from Hunt. Filho felt that one. We are 35 seconds down in the 4th round, the extension round. Inside thigh kick there from Filho. Hunt moves in with a body shot to the ribcage. Filho guarded up, just smiles at him now.
You see that sneaky right hand that Filho's trying to land over the top. The right hand that's put away Peter Aerts, put away Sam Leko, put away Andy Hug. It's having no effect on Mark Hunt this evening.
Thigh kick there from Hunt. Big body shot from Hunt. Filho, a little bit of buckling in the knees on that occasion. That right eye of Filho beginning to swell now. Hunt goes to the body again. Glancing right hand there from Hunt. He's now turning on the heavy artillery. Will he land the sleeping pill?
And there we see what is the techniques that have started to back Filho up, going to the body and then moving up to the head, starting to get through that guard. Mark just needs to do it for another minute, and he could be the first non-European K1 champ.
Big body shot there from Mark Hunt. He's got him against the ropes now. That's where he wants him. Either lets Filho get out of danger. Time out. What happened there? Was it another caution for Filho?
A caution for Filho for not fighting back.
Wow, that'll be good for Mark Hunt. Hunt just doing a lot more. Big knees now from Hunt. He's got him on the chin. He got him on the chin.
Filho is wrong.
Hunt's unriding on him now.
I don't think Hunt has seen that. Otherwise he'd be chasing him. He's such a good finisher.
1 minute remaining now. It is pandemonium here at the Tokyo Dome. Big wild right hand there by Filho. Mark Hunt with the uppercut.
And then we see the uppercut coming up. Rocking Filho's head back. Filho really starting to show signs of fatigue now.
1-2 by Filho, but you've got enough mustard behind it to do any real damage. Who's got the pepper? Who's got the mustard to keep on going? Filho, he is worn. He is a worn-out fighter. Mark Hunt still stalking him.
The winner of this fight will be the one that digs deep the most, the one that really wants it.
Big wild uppercut there from Filho. Hunt moves forward again. We're now into the final 30 seconds.
These are two very weary men.
Thigh kick. Hunt just falls. Oh, lands a big left hand. He wobbled him. Hunt now ties him up. Referee separates both men. Filho is not doing enough. Mark Hunt is the busier of the two. Into the final 15 seconds now.
Could it be?
The right hand to the side of the head. Another right hand from Mark Hunt. Hunt's unloading on him. The ticking time bomb may have exploded.
Mark Hunt is
into the final seconds.
He's sensing victory and coming on strong, backing up Filho.
And there it is, the end of the extension round. I'm going to give it to Mark Hunt.
Who will the judges look at? Mark Hunt was the busier of the two fighters.
Mark Hunt was the busier of the two, Mike Ango. That is correct.
I think Mark Hunt may have just shaded that round. Filho looking absolutely exhausted in the corner.
Why could we even see one more extension?
Has been known to happen in the past. There's nothing definitive. As I've said, Mark Hunt came on strong.
I have never seen such an epic K1 final in the history of K1.
Who will it be, the newcomer or the old hand?
Hunt rocked him. The left hand rocked him.
To look at the determination on Mark Hunt's face as he launches that right hand. Filho reeling away from Mark Hunt's power.
We await eagerly. Hunt tried to work the knee in under the jaw of Filho. Hunt kneed, he kicked, he punched. He was far busier than Francisco Filho. Although I will go on record and say that stranger things have happened when it comes down to the judge's decision right here in Japan. And Filho is definitely the crowd, well I should say not the crowd, but the judge's favourite. The official's favourite. Here we go.
ジャッジ島水を10対9赤マークハントジャッジ水岡正人10対9赤マークハント
He's won it! He's won it! He's won it! Mark Hunt is the K1 champion of the world! The K1 champion of the world! Mark Hunt is the king of the world! Mike Ango, stand up with me! We are saluting Mark Hunt! He is the K1 champion of the world!
An absolute fairy tale coming from absolute obscurity. Coming back from a lost split against Racing. Someone cried. Mark Hunt, New Zealand and Australia.
Mark Hunt.
Feel proud of your man tonight.
He is the K1 world champion, folks! The boy from South Auckland! The slugger from Liverpool! The kid who had a dream has grown up to be the K1 world champion!
And he can find himself another new car tonight. He's taking home with him $1 million back home to Liverpool, Australia. Let's look up to this man. Mark Hunt is ecstatic.
Mark Hunt is an instant superstar, a megastar, a millionaire. More than that, he is the king of the K1 world, and he is the greatest heavyweight fighter on the planet today. Harvey Marinoa and Mark Hunt. Ray Stefan congratulating his fellow countrymen Mark Hunt.
What does this say about the fighters in Oceania? We have John Champion coming in the middleweight. Ray Seppo, finalist last year. This year, Mark Hunt, the first non-European K1 world champion.
We are being flooded in gold and silver streamers here ringside. Mark Hunt is going to be crowned the K-1 World Grand Prix champion. Shihan Asobi sharing a sad moment with Francisco Filho, the two Kyokushin legends. But meanwhile, Mark Hunt is celebrating. He is the king of the world.
And let's not forget Francisco Filho. Painkilling injections even to get here tonight. 2 weeks ago, he wasn't even going to compete, and he made it all the way to the K-1 final, accounting for Peter Aerts and Alexey Ignashov.
It is a victory for the underdog, a victory for New Zealand and Australia, a victory for inspiration. Well, Mark Hunt has rewritten the history books, being congratulated by Kancho Ishii.
And haven't the Japanese crowds just adopted Mark Hunt? They've taken him to heart. They've seen him for what he is. He's a fighter who doesn't have as many tools as perhaps the other fighters here in the tournament, but he has guts. You talk about guts and intestines.
He has the biggest heart of anyone here tonight. What an inspiration and a role model to everyone in New Zealand and Australia, more specifically in South Auckland, Redfern and Liverpool. Francisco Filho, our consolation, our sympathies go out to him. He is a valiant warrior, but tonight there is only one champion, and that champion is this man, Mark Hunt.
And as we see Dixon McIver, New Zealand's super promoter there, pulling Mark Hunt aside, just congratulating him.
It is a defining moment in the history of sport. Mark Hunt has become an immortal. He has rewritten the history books in the annals of time. It is a victory carved through blood, through sweat, through tears, and baptized in victory here tonight. Kancho Ishii about to present Mark Hunt as the official K-1 Grand Prix 2001 World Champion.
And Mark Hunt, look at the look on his face. He can't believe it. He's absolutely shocked. Only this morning he was saying how he looked up at some of these great K-1 fighters, and tonight he's dominated them all.
Kancho Ishii, Tarek Solek, Dixon McIver, and let's take our hat off to the man behind the man, Harpe Nuranoa, from the Liverpool kickboxing gym in Liverpool, Sydney, where Mark Hunt now resides and trains. We are almost lost for words, a lot of emotion, and here comes the ovation for Mark Hunt. The Cinderella story. Mark Hunt now lives the dream.
And if you look around the crowd, you can see they're all on their feet. This is a standing ovation with their hands above their heads. Mark Hunt, what an awesome performance tonight.
He knocked Jérôme Le Banner senseless with a 15-punch combination. He knocked down Stefan Leko twice, and then he went an extra round to defeat Francisco Filho. Mark Hunt is simply the best on the planet at the moment. Mark Hunt is the K-1 Grand Prix champion of 2001.
The K-1 promoters, they talked about wanting new blood. They wanted new blood in the tournament, and where did they look to but to Oceania? And Mark Hunt here this evening, as we see the K-1 World Grand Prix 2001 belt wrapped around his waist. And it's just starting to sink in for Mark Hunt, and isn't he ecstatic?
It is going to be one heck of a party tonight for Mark Hunt and his crew.
I tell you what, the streets of Roppongi in Tokyo, look out. There will be a party going on. There's a huge contingent of Kiwis and Australians here.
The other fighters all in centering: Nicholas Pettas, Mike Bernardo, Peter Aerts, Ernesto Hoost, Jérôme Le Banner. They are all there. Alexey Ignashov, and they are all saluting the new champion of the K-1 world.
Mark Hunt, and hasn't he done it the hard way? He's fought Jérôme Le Banner twice. He's fought Ernesto Hoost. He's knocked out Jérôme Le Banner. He's knocked out Stefan Leko twice. And finally, he's fought the legend, the Kyokushin legend, Francisco Filho, and beaten him in an extended round. Mark Hunt, he's our champion from New Zealand and Australia. What an inspiration.
The fastest rising champion in K-1 history. Out of nowhere, a virtual unknown a year and a half to 2 years ago. K-1 Oceania champion 2000, K-1 Oceania champion 2001, now world K1 champion and proud wearer of the K1 crown. A crown fit for a king, and the name of that king is Mark Hunt.
$40,000. The winner's check goes to Mark Hunt.
$400,000.
Winner's check goes to Mark Hunt.
That's over $1 million in Australian and New Zealand dollars. What a fantastic prize to take home from Mark Hunt.
Well, there you have it, folks. It is history in the making. Mark Hunt, the boy from South Auckland, the boy who had a dream, the man who made the dream come true. The dream was to be the king of the world, and right now Mark Hunt is on top of the world. He is a millionaire. He is a champion. He is your champion and our champion. He is definitely the people's champion.
As we look back at the crowd, seeing them still standing, absolutely amazed by what has taken place here before them tonight. Mark Hunt, a man who 3 years ago was getting outpointed by Nathan Briggs, tonight he beat them all. Tonight he's on top of the world. As we see the lineup of representatives from Australasia.
Harpe Nuranoa, Mark Hunt, Kancho Ishii, Dixon McIver and Tarek Solak. It is a victory for the Oceania region. We now boast the finest heavyweight fighter of any fighting code on the planet. Unbelievable scenes here at the Tokyo Dome. Nobody has left, everybody remains to salute Mark Hunt, perhaps the most popular victor of all time. The new blood has come through, a man who has come through the qualifying round, from the local qualifying round of the Oceania to the repechage tournament in Fukuoka, now winner of the world tournament here in Tokyo, Japan. 70,000 plus on hand to see it, to see Mark Hunt being crowned the king of kings.
Let's not forget the performance by Francisco Filho as he looks forward to a quiet rest tonight. Back with his family, his wife and his daughter have accompanied him here this evening, so he'll be back with them. Satisfied in the fact that he took a lot of courage and a lot of dignity to even step in the ring tonight.
The $60,000 runner-up paycheck for Francisco Filho. But all these 8 fighters here tonight are winners in their own right. They're the 8 finest heavyweights on the planet, and the number one out of all of them is not named Hoost or Aerts or Le Banner or Bernardo, but he is named Mark Hunt.
Just a moment of reflection too. How about Ray Seppo? Ray Seppo, who defeated Mark Hunt in Fukuoka in a narrow points decision, but wasn't able to continue because of the swelling in his eye. We could well have had 2 Oceania fighters here this evening.
Well, there you have it, folks. It was history in the making. It has been definitely all night here at the Tokyo Dome. New Zealand and Australia's own Mark Hunt, the boy from South Auckland, the man from Liverpool. The dream has come true. He is the number one, the king of the world, on top of the world, the K1 world champion.
And the voice that cried loudest tonight, Michael Chiavello, all the way from Melbourne, Australia, in homage to this man, Mark Hunt. What an incredible story, what a fairy tale story.
Mike, it has been an absolute honour. Thank you very much for being with me, my verbal sparring partner, ringside Mike Angove. From myself, Michael Chiavello, thank you for joining us. And we congratulate you, Mark Hunt, our champion, your champion, the K1 world champion 2001.
最後まで選手の声援ありがとうございました。以上、おし。
選ばれし男たちの激闘は終わった。黄金の月桂冠はサモアの怪人マーク・ハントの頭上に輝いた。しかし今日の日を目指し 自らに過酷な試練と苦しみを課してきた栄光の選手たちは誰もが完全燃焼した1年というサイクルの中自らの強さを保ち続ける努力時に辛酸をなめ再び立ち上がる生命力その陰には多くの人々の支えがあったであろうそして何より声の限りに応援を寄せてくれたファンの力が戦う者声援を寄せる者そして陰で支える者全ての勝利の証これこそが K-1 王者の称号なのである新たなる試練とともに開幕した21世紀しかし苦難の中にこそ栄光があることをリングの上の勇者たちは我々に教えてくれるそして彼らは尽きせぬ次なる目標に向け今日よりまた走り始め希望を勇気を